land scrape, fingerprint home lock, and a lot more. Visit our office at Senegambia Kololi Highway and get a free site visit tour, or contact us on 4464-838. WhatsApp us on 3259220. Or you can visit our Facebook page or Instagram on EJ Investments. EJ Investments, we are first in properties.
Welcome back, Mr. Sambou. I hope you have had some lunch.
Yes, I did.
May I remind you that you're still under oath? We have a few more topics to go. So far,
Let me put it off. I'm sorry.
lunch must have been very good.
Not now. Sorry.
Are we okay?
Yes, sir.
So far, we have covered the following violations. The torture of the Farafenni attackers, of which you were aware and did not do anything there to stop it other than to speak to the Director General as you claim. And the other one is the torture of the journalist who made allegations against Sambaba, mistaken allegations. That was Musa Sise and Musa Serikan and Madi Sise. We've also dealt with the Freedom newspaper saga. And we have dealt with the Nur Cham issue. Those who are arrested, tortured, and at the NIA headquarters. Including Wasa Kamara, Tamsir Jase, Yaya Dabo, Bunja Dabo, and others. And the arrest and torture of Mariam Dentin, Ramzi Diab, and others.
Arrest bo xamne ak mitital tek nañ ko Mariam Dentin ak Ramzi Diab ak ñeneen.
So we've dealt with all these. Okay. Now we have to deal with the disappearances, as you called it. The floor is yours.
It council, the issue of this disappearance, especially for my late friend, Daba Marena.
Lu jëm ci fànn ñi nga xam ne dañu di rawatina kenn ki nga xam ne suma xarit la woon di Daba Marena.
Was the blackest incident in my tenure as DG.
Nag li gënoon a lëndëm ci suma jamono.
I convinced Daba to move over from the police to the NIA, NSS.
Man maa wax ak Daba mu jóge ko ci police gi ñëw NSS.
In August 1988.
Very August 1988.
The then Nigerian technical advisor.
Ki nga xam ne ni moo daan yedd ci wàllu liggéey ji am Nigeria.
Under Sir Dawda's regime.
Ci jamono nguuri Sir Dawda.
Recommended that the police special branch and the NSS be integrated.
Ràññee woon nag ne benn banqaas ci police yi ak NSS ñu dal di leen boole.
And I was assigned to go and convince the boys at the police to come over.
Boobaa nag ci lañ ma jox nag liggéey boobu pour ma dal di dem ci laa oo nag yooyu pour ñu ñëw.
Everybody came except Daba.
ñëpp ñëw ba mu des Daba.
And one Mr. Cham.
ak kenn ku ñu xamee Mr. Cham.
So over a weekend I went to the police.
ci njeexteel bés bu ay bi ma dem ci police yi.
I spoke to him.
ma wax ak moom.
He said, okay, we'll think over it.
mu ne ma waaw dinaa ko seetaat.
By Monday.
dinaa ko seetaat.
On the Monday, I went back to the police.
ci altine ga ma delluwaat ca police ga.
And convinced him to come with me to State House.
ma neexal ko nag mu ànd ak ñun man ñëw State House.
To discuss with
ñu waxtaan
the
ak
then director Pajalo.
nekkoon directeur bi Pa Diallo.
And we managed to talk him into coming over.
ci la ñuy waxtaan ak moom ba yóbbu xelam nag pour mu ñëw bokk si.
So he moved over.
so bi mu toxusee.
This obviously the service conditions were better.
jamono boobu nag service bi ni mu nekkin ba daal moo gënoon a yéwén.
And he was a sergeant.
booba nag ci maqaamam sergeant la toll.
He was given a better grade.
dañ ko dal di gënoon a yokkal pay.
Because he was a very good field operator.
ndax jamono boobu ku màcc la ci liggéeyam.
And we moved on.
ñu continue.
When the military took over,
jamono bi ñu defee coup d'état.
came, the NIA was created.
jamono boobu nag lañ sampa NIA.
And people like Marena were transferred.
mel ni kii Marena ci lañ ko dal di toxal foofu.
And I also came over. I was integrated from the Ministry of Works.
may tamit jamono boobu te leen ci lañ ma booyoon ci Ministry of Work.
And we met again.
ñu dool li tasewaat.
And our bond continued, of course.
suñ jàppalante bi nag continue.
He respected me very much. He called me my boss.
mu ciral ma lool dama ooyee suma boss.
As Director of Administration and Finance,
xam ne nii maa jiite woon buntu bi saytu mbiri doxalin liggéeykat yi ak buntu koppar yi.
I was responsible for many administrative matters.
xam ne nii gàddoo naa am na yu bëri yoo xam ne mu ngi jëm ci wàllu tëddalini liggéey bi.
I organized training sessions.
dama daan woote ay njàngale ay tàggat.
And programs.
ak ay tëddalin programmes.
So I made sure
pour gis ne.
he was included in all the groups that traveled to Nigeria.
dana bokk ci kuréel yi nga xam ne yëpp ku ne dem Nigeria. Germany.
Libya.
and
Morocco.
ak Morocco.
He got very good training.
mu am nag njàng mu baax.
on
the
field.
ci liggéey bi.
So obviously he rose very quickly.
ci kaw loolu nag ci la maqaamam gaaw lool muy gën a yokk.
He was very willing.
ndax nekkoon na koo xam ne ko amoon itte la.
Eventually,
kaw loolu
he was posted to the State House as liaison officer.
ci lañ ko daal di yóbbu na State House mu nga xam ne nii moo fa nekkal ki toogal NIA foofu.
That's where he forged his personal relationship with the then President Yahya Jammeh.
foofu nag fa la sosé nag jokkoom ak Yahya Jammeh.
I left at some time.
ci yenn jamono nag ma bàyyi.
Went to the Foreign Service.
dem nag ci liggéeyi bitim réew yi.
And went to the Ministry of Health.
dem ci ministry bi saytu wàllu wér garam gi.
And IAC.
ak buntu liggéeykaay bi saytu mbiri wote ak kontem carte yi ci réew mi.
During that time,
ci jamono boobu nag.
he became DG.
mu nekk directeur général di borom kër gi.
And he would call me my boss.
ba léegi rek daf may ooyee my boss.
What do I do in this case? What do I do in this case?
ci defaat bu mel nii lan laa cee def ak lan laa cee def.
When I went to the UK,
bi ma demee nag réewi Angleterre.
do my masters.
pour def nag suma maqaama masters.
Sambaba left.
Daba ci la bàyyi.
Sambaba left.
Sambaba ci la bàyyi.
So he was grooming me for me to take over.
ma doon di yar na pour man ma jël.
But I said I was going to study.
waaye nag ci laa ko wax ne ko man damay dem pour yokk suma njàng.
Before I came back,
balaa maay ñëw.
Marina took over from him.
ci lañ fal nag Marina.
When I called one day,
àggee foofu seeti ko benn bés.
DG's office, I got Marina.
bi mu téléphoné nag ci office DG ci la am Marina.
Said, my boss. I said, yes.
da ko wax my boss mu ne ko waaw.
What are you doing out there up till now?
lan ngay def foofu ci biir ba léegi.
I said, I have not finished yet. I'm coming.
ne ko pareegu maa ngi ñëw.
I said, I'm the one sitting here. The Sambaba has gone.
ne ko maa fi nekk de Sambaba moom dem na.
But hurry up and come. You know, people like me don't sit behind desks.
xam nga ne suma ku mel ni man duy nekk ci gannaaw ko na gaawal ñëw.
I'm a groundsman.
man ci suuf rek laay dox.
I said, okay, it's all right, don't worry.
waa ko wax bu jaaba maa ngi ñëw.
When I came back,
bi ma ñëwaatee.
for some reason or another, I was transferred to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
ci ay dogal ci lañ ma yóbbuwaat ci ministre bi saytuwaay doxalin bitim réewi Gambia.
And I heard from Nigeria, he had also been removed.
ca Nigeria ci laa dégg ne daal génne nañu ko.
And taken to Basse as commissioner.
dañ ko yóbbu Basse mu nekk fa commissioner.
I think it's between that time he came back. I don't know what happened.
diggante boobu nag ci lañ ko indiwaat.
I was at the IAC.
boobu man maa ngi nekk ci IAC.
Until I was called to State House to go and take over from.
jamono boo xam ne woo nañ ma dem State House pour dal di jël liggéey bi.
In March 2006.
ci weeri March atum 2006.
Let me ask you this.
laaj la.
You were called to State House.
dañ la oo State House.
And told that your friend has been arrested.
wax la ne sa xarit bi day jàpp nañ ko.
And you are asked to take his job.
ci lañ la wax ne na nga jël palaasam.
How did you feel when you got this news?
bi nga jotee xibaar boobu yoo yëg.
Obviously, I asked what happened.
ci laa laajte nag lu xew.
I was told he was detained.
ci lañ ma wax ne ñu ngi ko jàppa.
I said, what happened?
ci laa wax lu xew.
He said there was an attempted coup.
lañ ma wax ne dafa am coup buñ doon fexe.
Oh, yeah?
waaw.
Yes, and he is involved.
te tamit nag dal dinañ ko ci tuumaal.
Oh, yeah?
yee.
Okay, I went to the SG's office.
ci laa dem ci office yi SG bi.
And as you asked me previously, he said there are instructions for you to go and take over there.
comme ni nga ma laajoon ci gannaaw rek mais am nañ ndigal ne pour nga dem jël foofa.
And here is your letter.
lii mooy sa leetar bi.
Immediate effect.
ak si saa si la nag.
I went.
ci laa dem.
But I didn't.
You still haven't said how you felt.
ba tey waxuloo de bañ la ko waxee loo yëg.
Sorry, I over. I was shocked.
Amona nakar.
Because I knew Marena. I don't think I would have believed that he would be involved in such a thing.
So at this stage you thought that must have been a lie?
Not think anything because I didn't know anything about the coup.
Well, if you believed at the time that he wouldn't be involved in a coup, that you must have therefore believed that the allegation against him must have been false.
At some point, yes.
But yet still you took the job.
Says boss says I should tell you this.
Boss wait
for your letter.
You could say no.
Yeah, Jame?
Yes.
Yes, at a risk and peril.
But you have struggled to give me an example of a person who refused Jame's job or refused his unlawful order and something wrong happened to him. You haven't given me an example.
I don't remember. I don't remember.
Because there aren't any or many.
In 2013 or 14.
2014, well, 13.
The former Minister for Local Government and Lands,
Junkun Koli,
with whom I was in exile in Senegal, was appointed minister. He didn't want it. He went to the vice president then, Aissatou Sidi.
Vice President Aissatou Sidi.
Discussed the issue.
But
he was told point blank that this is an order.
And
I think he was asked to swear in there.
A
few weeks later, he ran away and went to Senegal.
He
did not want
it.
Clearly, he did not want it. He ran away. Those who wanted it stayed.
Yes.
Well,
yes. I am trained. And I was once a deputy to the Director General. If I have the opportunity, why not give it a try?
So you wanted the job?
I wouldn't say no.
So in spite of all the things that you know to have surrounded that job, you put yourself in it, voluntary non-fit injuria. No. You knew what it entailed. You xamone nga ne li fo ak jaan la. So jaan dina la mata.
Man xam na place boobu.
I knew that place.
Bañ ko jagar.
When it was established, few months after, that's the time I went there. I worked with Sambou to visit where it is.
And even during that time, at the very early years of the NIA, torture and falsification of evidence prevailed.
He said at the very beginning, I went to the NIA about 6 to 7 months after it was established.
That was 1995.
94. July 94.
July 1994.
Yes.
And 6 months later would take you to January 95.
July 94, but you take a January 95.
Around the end of 94, I went there.
In 1994 last of them.
And few years down the line, the NIA developed a reputation of being a torture chamber.
So
if you did not want to be part of it, why accept the job?
Within my limits, I did what I could. I told Sambou quite right. Quite clearly. That this thing is not acceptable.
We can understand that.
He told me I was a coward.
But the difficulty I have is that you are in the outside and you know that what was happening at the NIA was not acceptable. Yet you accepted to come and lead it. In spite of your knowledge that what was happening there was not acceptable.
Not from the outside, from the inside.
That is even worse. But the fact of the matter is here you are head of operations at the IEC. You are now being brought to come and accept a job which you believe was unacceptable.
You
said it was unacceptable. What was going on?
I didn't say that.
Well, you just told us that what was happening at the NIA was unacceptable.
When I went in there and saw what was happening.
No, but even before you went there for your third stint.
Second.
Well, third stint in the intelligence. Second stint at NIA. You knew that what was going on in there was unacceptable. You knew that as early as 1996.
Depuis atum 1996,
and you believe that that was unacceptable. Yet you accepted to lead that institution which was doing work that was unacceptable.
Changes can happen from within. I thought I could do something.
Or you thought Yaya Jammeh has suddenly metamorphosed from being Machiavellian to being benign and easily convinced by a Harry Sambou.
I don't know. I have a training.
But Mr. Sambou, isn't it correct that you knew fully well at that time in 2006 that Yaya Jammeh had become a fully fledged dictator, that Yaya Jammeh would not listen to you? You knew that, didn't you?
Why you hamonga the jamano bi atum 1996 di jot ne Yaya Jammeh nit la ko xamne yow do mëna wécc li nga xamne won jikko bim amé won ne nguuru jaay doole rek la nekké won.
You knew that.
Times when Yaya Jammeh listened. I told lead counsel here that I gave Yaya Jammeh my honest, objective and technical opinion. Depending on his whims and caprices, he would apply them or accept them. My job was to advise, and that's it.
But Mr. Sambou, the truth is you would tailor your advice to him on the basis of his mood.
Why, Mr. Sambou, li xewon moy na yow sa ndigalam say ko koy jox dang day set ci yan anam la tollu nga joxe ko ko nonu.
The advices are written. You put it on his table and you go away.
digal yooyu nag dama ko dañ ko daan bind danga koy teg si taabulam bi nga dem.
So you don't try to convince him.
If he feels like discussing it, he does. Once in a while you sit down.
But tell us in all honesty, did you really think at that time in 2006 that really Yaya Jammeh would listen to you?
wax ñu nag sa diggante ak yàlla ne ndax yow fokkoon nga ni atum 2006 dëgg Yaya Jammeh doonoon na koo xam ne yow xarit Sambou dina la déglu.
You have detailed, catalogued extensively your relationship with Yaya Jammeh.
Yes.
yow feeñal nga fi yaatal nga li nga xam ne moo woon sa jokkoo ak Yaya Jammeh.
You knew at that time that this was a poisoned chalice that you were going to take.
The Honorable Chairman yesterday said that even with Yaya Jammeh, you have to give him his chance to defend himself, you have to be fair to him.
Yes, of course, you are being given a chance.
Yaya Jammeh is a human being after all.
But the fact of the matter is, you knew exactly what you were getting yourself into. You went into it with your eyes wide open.
No, I wouldn't accept that. Yes, I told lead counsel yesterday, I asked him, I said, is lead counsel trying to force this thing down my throat? He said, no, I'm not saying it that way. But lead counsel is wanting to make me accept and believe that everything about Yaya Jammeh was evil and 100%. Yaya Jammeh was a human being and fallible or like everybody else. He had his bad sides, and those are the ones I mentioned. I haven't said anything good about Yaya Jammeh because there's no need. This is not the forum.
Yes, but the question really is not about Yaya Jammeh. The question is about you. The question is, you accepted that job knowing fully well what awaited you.
li ñoo wax fii doon du mbir Yaya Jammeh ne sa mbir la ñoo wax mooy ne liggéey biñ la jox danga ko nangoo jël te fekka xam nga digga la nga xam ne moom nga fa doon fekki.
If it was the first time you didn't know the NIA was a torture chamber, you can have that excuse, oh, I didn't know this is what I was going to find there. But you knew fully well, you were Deputy Director General before, it was a torture chamber, you knew fully well that you would be asked to preside over the torture of Gambians. You knew that, didn't you?
su fekkee ne xamuloo woon ne béréb la woon boo xam ne NIA dañ ko jël rek di fa mitital di toroxal di mbugal nit ñi mun nañoo wax ne xamuloo ko waaye yow nekkoon nga ki toppa ci njiit la NIA waaye terewul nga jël liggéey bi te xamoon nga la fa nekk.
I started off with institutional reforms when I went into.
Mr. Sambou, in fact, from day one, you presided over the commencement of this panel that was going to carry out the torture of Gambians from day one.
Panel bi mu jàmbur yooyu nga xam ne ñoom lañ tànnoon pour ñu def ay gëstu yaa ko jiite woon ca bam commencé.
That was day one.
True
or false?
I told council that I did not know that was what they were doing there.
But this is the issue. You suddenly
that was not it.
Just a moment, but you suddenly believe that the leopard has changed its spots?
Well, don't leopard change their spots, no?
Do they?
I don't know.
Well, so you had no expectation that Jammeh had changed?
It council. I thought and I believed I could play a role.
But here you are. Yes, I know you knew you would play a role, but here you are. Even your friend, who you helped or you convinced to bring into the service, you have seen that he's been done in. They did him in. You did not believe the accusation against him one bit. Yet you were happy and contented to take over his position, knowing fully well what lay ahead.
Wa legi yow yaangi ni sa xarita ngi ni ko xamne orna la xam nga naka la mel ñu jël ko duggal ko nit la ko xamne dañ ko duggal ci mbir mo xamne xamul ci dara ci niñ ko waxe legi nak way terew ñu génné ko ci palaasam nga kontaan pour outu ko palaasam te xamone nga lan fa fekk.
It was not a matter of being happy and contented.
Please read council.
You did not take it under protest, did you?
No, I took it willingly.
Well, I guess that answers the question, so I would just move on.
Lead council will allow me to move on, or lead council will move on? We are talking about...
No, we will all move on to something else. Well, the answer, I believe, is quite clear. I told you, you took it voluntarily. Now you said you take it willfully. So we will proceed.
Léegi nag tontu boobu doy na ma mun nañoo jàll ci leneen ndax dama la wax ne liggéey bi da place bi dañ la ko jox nga nangu ko ci sa coobare bopp nga ne waaw bon loolu doy na ma nañ jàll ci leneen.
Now let's see what happened to Daba.
Léegi nag nañ seet li xam ne moo dal Daba.
You told us as far as his arrest.
Wax nga ñu la aju ci li nga xam ne noonu lañ ko jàppee.
As per what I heard.
Comme li ma ko déggee.
Yes.
Waaw.
A few days into my taking office at the NIA,
ay fan gannaaw bi nga xamee ni jël naa NIA.
he was brought in.
ci lañ ko indi.
Proceed, please.
He was brought in to hand over.
ci lañ ko indi pour mu jébale buntu liggéeykaay bi.
Escorted by the late Tumbul Tamba and Musa Jame.
ñi ko fa ànd ak moom nag mooy lépp ndef si yàlla Tumbul Tamba ak Musa Jammeh.
And other soldiers.
ak yeneeni soldat.
There was no written handing over.
amul nag jébalante boo xam ne dañ ko bindoon.
So it's a formal affair about 10-15 minutes.
da mbir lu gàtt la woon rek ay fukki minutes ak juróom.
He said, my boss.
mu ne ma suma boss.
He said, so I heard you are the one who took over from here.
dégg naa nag yow yaa ma utu. mu ne waaw.
I am relieved.
mu ne ma nag fi mu nekk nii génne nañ ma ci.
that you took over.
léegi jël nga.
fi mu nekk suma xel dal na.
suma xel dal na.
ne yow yaa fi ne.
nde yow yaa fi ne.
Good luck.
ñaanal ma.
Please remember my family.
ngay bàyyi xel nag suma njaboot gi.
Mariama and the children.
Mariama ak xale yi.
I said okay.
ma ne ko waaw.
Left and they left.
ci lañ ko yóbbu.
I was whisked away.
yóbbu ko.
It was the last time I saw him.
bu mooy bu jëntali jamono boo xam ne nii gis naa ko.
Last time I heard about him.
wala ma dégg ko.
Last time you heard from him.
Yes.
But not about him.
Indeed, from him.
And even soon after that, you heard about him.
About him.
Tell us about it.
One morning,
benn suba.
I had a phone call from the then Chief of Defense Staff, Langtombong Tamba.
ci laa am téléphone call bu jógee ci Langtombong Tamba mooy Chief of Armed Force.
Inviting me to a meeting of service chiefs.
ci la ma oo nag ci benn jotaay boo xam ne nii njiiti service yi ñoo fay daje.
Chief of Defense Staff of the Gambia National Army.
Chief of Defense Staff Gambia National Army ki jiite soldat yi.
Myself, the acting DG NIA.
man ci suma bopp nga xam ne maa yaxantu nag ci njiitalu NIA.
And the Inspector General of Police, Ousmane Sonko.
ak ki nga xam ne nii moo jiite woon police yi Ousmane Sonko.
Where was the meeting to be held?
fan lañ doon defee ndaje boobu.
Bear with me. At the office of the Inspector General of Police.
ci office yi Inspector General bu police bi.
And I drove my car and went.
ci laa dawal suma oto ma dem.
And we met.
ci lañ seq jotaay.
Who did you find there?
kan nga fa fekk.
At the meeting,
ci meeting bi.
I met with Langtombong there.
Langtombong Tamba laa fa fekk.
The Inspector General of Police.
ki nekkoon njiiti police yi.
Mr. Sambou, kindly speak up or draw the microphone.
The Inspector General of Police.
Inspector General bu police bi.
And
ak
Captain Tumbul Tamba.
Captain Tumbul Tamba.
The late.
dem si yàlla wa léegi.
And at the meeting,
ci meeting bi.
Tumbul Tamba rose up.
Tumbul Tamba jóg taxaw.
And informed us in the meeting.
ci la ñu yëgal ci biir meeting bi.
That he had news to break to us.
am na benn xibaar bu mu ñu war a nettali.
That 5 persons.
waaw lu dem ci juróomi nit.
Dawa Marina.
bokk na ci di Dawa Marina.
I remember all of them.
mënuma fàttaliku ñëpp.
I think Ibulo.
mu xam naa Ibulo.
One Ba, Aliou or Ablay.
kenn ku ñu xamee Baawu Aliou wala Ablay.
Aliou and Alpha.
Aliou ak Alpha.
Yes, the 5 of them.
ñoom juróom.
Were being transported.
Aliou Ba, Dawa Marina, man la fi Kerr.
man la fi Kerr.
And Alpha, then Ibulo.
Yes, were being transported.
ne dañ leen doon yóbbu.
In a car.
ci ab oto.
To Janjanbureh prisons.
ñu dem Janjanbureh kaso bu mag yi nekkee ci Janjanbureh.
And the vehicle they were in.
ci oto bi ñu nekkoon.
Some assaulted.
suppa jaleñ.
And the prisoners escaped.
ñu dal di rëcc.
That's what he said.
I think that's what he said. I think that's
yaakaar naa loolu la ma wax loolu la wax.
We all looked at each other.
ñun ñëpp ñu xoolante.
My colleagues.
suma nawle yi fa nekkoon.
Looked shocked.
ñu am lu leen jaaxal lool.
Surprised.
ak njaaxare.
Just like myself.
man ci suma bopp rek.
I was dumbfounded. I didn't know what to say.
jamono boobu nag suma làmmeñ la mun a xam lan laay wax.
Just kept my cool.
ma noppi noonu rek.
So they said,
lañ wax
this
ni
was the situation.
lii nag moo am.
So Lang Tombong said,
Lang Tombong ne,
the head of state
borom réew mi
needed to be informed.
war nañ ko koy wax.
But
why?
Before that,
balaa loolu,
we were supposed to draft a press statement.
waaye war nañu bind benn bataaxel boo xam ne dana jëm ci bunti taseekaay xibaar yi.
I'm not very sure, but I think that was in consultation with the head of state.
loolu mën na ndax mooy boo nekk jamono boo xam ne ngeen diisoo borom réew mi.
Mr. Sambou.
Not very sure.
This whole issue is shrouded in a lot of unexplained facts.
I'm trying
to explain.
Okay, proceed then.
So he proposed that we write a press statement. To send it to the press. And inform the general public. And then we go to Echi. Inform him.
You see, we've received evidence on this. And the more versions we receive, the more questions we have. First thing is, mean the service chiefs would issue a press release, inform the public, and then go to Yahya Jammeh and inform him of something as serious as that?
Service
that would not happen in the Gambia of Babili Mansa that we all knew and talked about.
I also asked myself.
Then you know how it would say, heads would roll.
I also asked myself that question, lead counsel. There where I sat, I was not thinking of Marina. Myself. Because as Director General of NIA, Security Intelligence, if this thing had happened, and I did not inform the head of state, as purportedly said over there, what would happen to me?
But
that's precisely my issue here.
Just a moment.
Just
counsel,
a moment.
you asked me a question. This is very serious.
Just a moment, yes. I know you had this position. That's what you said you had. Yet you went along with this approach of informing the public before you informed your Jame. Because what is in fact now double jeopardy? Or maybe in fact a double whammy. But not only that, you had first failed to detect this huge intelligence issue.
That's right.
And then, you having failed to do that, you chose to inform the public before you informed the Ajame. That is a little bit unbelievable.
Lead counsel.
Lead counsel.
Yeah, where I sat.
Chief of Matofo.
I had what the Akus called Beleron. I was thinking of myself. What would happen?
But then, thinking about yourself, you would have self-preserved. That is, okay, you know what, I have to rush and tell my boss.
Before
informing the public. But there you were, you agreed to commit a second violation. That is to inform the public before you inform Jame.
Is it to say today?
Hey,
is it to say today?
Anyway.
And the other irony, Mr. Sambou, is that the person who came to inform you came from State House.
State House
Exactly so. Exactly so.
Did you ask him whether he had informed Jame?
At that moment, I lost my thinking capacity. I had lost my thinking capacity.
And a third one is, why you? Why come to you three? You are not responsible for those people. After all, they were detained where? At Mile 2 prisons. Maximum security. Why you?
I cannot answer that question.
Another question. You had a representative at Mile 2 prison, didn't you? The NIA always had representatives at Mile 2 prison. NIA and military intelligence, they had representatives at Mile 2 prison. Except if you tell us that David Colley is lying. But the NIA, up to today, the NIA has representatives at Mile 2 prison. You don't what?
Remember. I don't remember that aspect, that part of what you are saying.
Did you ask, did you interrogate the information that was given? Did you ask any questions?
I just sat there in bewilderment.
How about your friends, your colleagues? Did they ask any questions?
Well, they asked him what happened, how it happened. And he narrated that the vehicle somersaulted.
Did he say where the vehicles were, where the somersaulted vehicles are?
Yet he said it was in Funye. Exactly.
Did he produce any pictures? 2006, mobile phones were capable of taking pictures.
am na yenn nataal yu ñu leen woon ndaxte atum 2000 si fekk na téléphone mobile yi mënoon nañoo jël ay nataal.
In my presence, no.
Did you see anything?
Apart from what he said, no.
And yet, 3 service chiefs accepted what he said, hook, line, and sinker without question.
Ba léegi yéen ñi nga xam ne yéen ñett ñooñu yëpp ay njiit lañ yoo xam ne ñu ngi jiite ay bunti kaaraanga yu am solo ci réew mi ngeen nangul ko kàddu yooyu mu wax rek te laaju leen ko dara.
I personally did.
Man si suma bopp laaj na.
What did you ask him?
loo ko laaj.
Isn't it the case that this was in fact a meeting that was aimed at fabricating a story on behalf of a government that has just slaughtered its citizens?
ndaje moomu ngeen oote woon ndaje la boo xam ne rek ngeen mun cee waxtaanee lu bokk ci nguur goo xam ne ñu ngi rey rek seeni ay doomi réew.
That is what it turned out to be later when I found out.
Mujjee gi nag loolu la mujjee nekk.
Mr. Sambou, did your colleagues know that these 5 individuals were executed unlawfully by the government of the Gambia?
Mr. Sambou, ndax say nawle yooyu sa naataango yooyu nga xam ne ñoom nga fa nekkaloon xam nañ ne juróomi nit ñii nguur gi dañ leen rey ci ay anam yoo xam ne àndut ak luwa.
Please go ahead.
This is something that they already cooked. And this is out, and we all
dished it out for all of us to consume.
Yes, including me. I will not get myself out of it. I was in there.
But the thing is, you extricated yourself from the cooking.
Of course.
You only ate it, you only consumed it and digested it.
I had no knowledge of anything. Dara, at Bible be. Dara.
This Holy Bible.
First and Holy Communion.
We have seen people swear here, Mr. Sambou.
You have. You see it a lot of times, but I am doing it for myself. My kids and my family. My personal reputation as a true Christian.
Tell me honestly, did you have a suspicion that your colleagues in fact participated in the cooking, as you call it?
wax ni sa diggante ak yàlla ndax gum nga ne sa ay nawle yooyu am nañ loxo ci togga boobu comme ni nga ko waxee ne ñu ko doon togga.
Afterwards, yes.
Now loolu waaw.
Could you tell us about it?
wax ñu naka la.
Tombong was deeply involved in the arrests and detentions and the bringing interrogations of detainees at the panel or at the mile to premise A.
NIA. Tombong we quote on roll ci japp ak téek ak mbiri gestu ñooñu ci ati NIA bi.
Usman Sonko would intermittently also go and attend the sessions.
Usman Sonko mo léegi dana dee dem teew ci gestu boobu moo xam nag ci bëccëg bi wala ci guddi gi.
But equally Harry Sambou would meet with Sajame or receive reports from Haidara, the chairman of the commission, of the panel, and would even occasionally go to the panel. So you are all in the same boat.
Bear with me, please.
In the same kitchen.
Bear with me. You are not allowing me to finish what I'm saying or explain myself.
I can interject now and again and put propositions. It appears you were all in the same kitchen.
I had a feeling. That's what you say. I am not, and I was not involved. Oblivious of the whole thing.
What are your other reasons for suggesting that your colleagues knew what was happening?
I don't know. I have a feeling they he wouldn't have trusted me 100% to get involved along with them in such things.
Would it surprise?
Amon na yakar ne ñom amon olu yoon ma pour ma and ak ñom ci jamono joju.
Would it surprise you to also note that Lam Tombong had the same feeling? That this thing was cooked up between the NIA and the police and State House, and he wouldn't know anything about it? You're laughing, Mr. Sambou.
That's funny. But we had Lang Tombong sit here and said he was never tortured.
Why didn't I see Lang Tombong tong fi ni mom musuñ ko metitaw?
Yes.
Mr. Sambou, well, it's his victimization. If he who feels it, knows it, refuses to say it, we let it fly. This is a platform for victims to talk about their own victimization.
Yeah.
If he chooses to pass on that,
yeah,
we can't cross-examine him about his own torture. So we just let it pass.
But a bit of my statement was read to him, which he flatly refused, rejected.
Which one?
The one the lead counsel read him here, that Mr. Harris Sambou wrote part of his statement is this and this and this.
Yes, that torture was the modus operandi.
Yeah, he denied it.
Why did you raise that point?
No, to show you that.
Tell us, we're listening.
He didn't say the truth.
And
he knows it.
So you were telling the commission that Lang Tombong lied? Lieutenant General, CDS of the Gambia National Army, he lied before the commission? That's what you're telling me?
Lieutenant General, CDS Mijite or Solbari, the commission.
Your answer, please.
I did not believe that part of his story.
Are you also suggesting equally that you do not believe the suggestion that he was not aware of the plan to disappear Daba Marena and 4 others?
That's not true.
That's not true.
That's what you said.
Oh, that's what I said in
He's
one of
lying.
Who is lying?
Lang Tombong didn't say the truth.
Are you therefore suggesting that he participated in the cooking and in the cover-up?
Danga buga wax ne Lang Tombong bokk na ci pexe mi nga xamne mom lañ ci doon def ak laxatu biñ ci def yeb nubba ko.
I am.
Well,
but what is your evidence for suggesting that he participated in the cooking?
Yo ban firne ga ci am pour wone ne pexe mi bokkon na ci.
Or the cook-up?
He's been so entangled in it, neck deep from the beginning.
Is this based on speculation or evidence?
Seeing him going in and out of State House and NIA with the detainees and all that stuff, what conclusion else would you draw?
Gis ko nim kumbe ci mbir mi di and ak ñi nga xamne ñom lañ japp digante ci kaso yi ak mile 2.
But the same thing could be said about you.
I'm talking about myself.
No, but he did A, B, C, and D. You said he was therefore involved neck deep. You also did A, B, C, and D. Were you also involved neck deep?
Ngane comme mom gis nga ko mu def li ak lele tax na nga gom ne bokkon na ci mbir mi bon yow tamit def nga li te lolu mën na gom lo nit ñi ne bokk nga ci pexé mi.
Somebody else might think I'm neck deep. Yes, I wouldn't think so myself.
Keneen yaakaar ne may tamit dama ci suub won ba ci baat.
So you deny being involved in the cook-up?
I deny 100%.
Weddi naa ko benn
dara.
Anything. I was not aware. They didn't ask me.
But you were involved 100% in the cover-up.
If sitting in the IG's office and complying with the suggestion to write this press statement and then going to HE to inform him is that it is.
Inspector General of Police pour bind bataaxel boo xam ne dañ ko war a yóbbu nag ci bunte tasekaay xibaar yi yëgal ko nit ñi dooroo dem àgg nag yëgal ko président bi kon nag remem mooy loolu dama ko weddi.
But Mr. Sambou, clearly you were here endorsing a statement about which you have no information.
Why, Mr. Sambou, yaa ngi toog béréb boo xam ne yaa ngi wéral kàddu boo xam ne yow amuloo ci benn xibaar ci mbir moomu.
The only information I had was what Tumbul Tamba said.
Pure hearsay, cock and bull.
Pure hearsay, cock and bull. Si commission bi lañ ko wara waxe, dega bi fi lañ ko waxe, man dina wax sama boss. Bokuma. How much dara?
The truth must be told here in the commission. I was not part of it. I didn't know it, and I will never accept it.
But that story, that cover-up, was, as you said, a cock and bull story. It was a plain lie.
I wholeheartedly agree with the lead counsel.
And the lead counsel
that it was a lie.
That it was a lie.
Why did you agree to go ahead with a statement feeding the Gambian public facts of such an important issue without having an iota of evidence that what was being said was in fact true?
Lan mo wara tax nga nango anda ci jël xibaar boo xam ne da ngeen koy pareel jël ko jébbal ko waa Gambia pour ñu mun a gëm li nga xam ne moom ngay wax te fekk óor na leen ni amul benn peppi dëgg boo xam ne moo ci nekk.
I think I wrote something in the response to the
nga am na lu ma bind ci tontu bu
point 5 if not point 5.
Yes,
my point 5.
Can lead counsel please quote me?
You said, what I stated in my original statement on pages 4 and 5 is exactly what happened. I only learned about the escape story in the office of Usman Sonko, the then Inspector General of Police. I was fast asleep at home when things happened the previous night, and I state this with a very clean conscience as a true Christian. At that very moment, I had no reason to believe Tumbul Tamba's story, and thus complied.
Not to believe.
Yes. I had no reason not to believe.
Not to believe.
Tumbul Tamba's story, and thus complied with the suggestion to write the press statement. The element of concealment did not occur to me then. That is what you say.
Yes.
But that is not in fact the case.
Counsel, did he say that in a supplementary statement or what?
Supplementary.
Why is this coming in now?
Supplementary statement.
Supplementary, okay.
Yes, supplementary statement, yes. But you equally had no reason to believe that story.
But here we are talking about concealment.
Yes.
This is why.
But the question I asked was, why did you agree to give your consent to a story which you had no reason to believe was true?
Lima laajte mooy lan moo tax nga nangoo joxe sa kàddu ànd ci xibaar boo xam ne ñu ngi ko feeñal te fekk xamuloo ci dara.
At that given time,
jamono boobu
we were in a situation of, well, semi-state of emergency.
ñu yoon ci jamono boo xam ne nii jamono
We were being arrested left, right, and center.
nit ñi ñu ngi leen a jàpp càmmooy ak ndeyjoor.
And you wouldn't know who would come next.
xamuloo kan la ñuy jàppaat.
Complying or not complying, if you don't comply, you simply are denounced to be on the other side.
Mr. Sambou, were you not afraid to go out there and publicly say something that may eventually turn out to be untrue and be on the wrong side of Yaya Jammeh?
ndax ragaluloo woon ne nga joxe xibaar boo xam ne ca mujjantil ga dinañ xam ne du dëgg la te du féete fi nga xam ne noonu la ko Yaya Jammeh buggee.
ndax ragaluloo woon ndax tiituloo woon wax loo xam ne xamuloo ci dara xamoo sax ndax dëgg la loo xam ne mun naa ñëw ëllëg doon loo xam ne du dëgg Yaya Jammeh mere leen ci ndax yow xalaatuloo woon loolu.
dañ doon di nar a dem ci Yaya Jammeh pour yëgal ko.
We were about to go to Yaya Jammeh and inform him.
niñ ma ko waxee.
As I was told,
ñu dem wax ko suñ kilifa.
let's go and tell the.
su ngeen ko yéebaanee nag ba kilifa bi ba pare. ngeen toog xaar lii xew ku jama sa dahaar naan ko.
If you tell the leader already, that's the time you can wait for it.
loolu moo doon situation bi.
moo tax fi mu ne ñu ngi laa nga wëccu ko.
Lead counsel wax naa la situation bi.
Lead counsel, I told you the situation.
I don't have a second version.
amuma beneen ñaari boor.
wax naa la ne fii lañ ko waxee li ma xam laa la wax.
I told you it's here where you stay.
li ma xam laa la wax.
What I know is what I'm telling you.
I can't. There isn't anything else.
The question is, we're just trying to understand the circumstances that prevailed.
li ñu laajte rek mooy ñun dañ bëgg a xam lu leer rek ci anam yi nga xam ne noonu la mbir yi doon doxee.
So you guys issued a statement.
Yes, we did.
léegi nag ngeen joxe xibaar.
You did not verify the facts as true.
seetu leen ngeen gëstu pour xam ndax xibaar bi dëgg la wala déet.
Apart from talking to him there where he was and him saying that this is narrating the story as she narrated. No.
You did not verify the facts as true.
I personally didn't.
Obviously, you had agents all over the country, didn't you?
am ngeen ñu ci bari yoo xam ne ñu ngi leen teewal ci béréb yi nga xam ne ñoo nekk ci réew mi yépp.
True or false?
Yes. Well, but at that moment, lead counsel, I'm telling you about the meeting there in Usman Sonko's office. And from there, please, from there, we drove into our cars and went straight to State House to talk to Ichi. There was no space about talking to
but you were in fact at the right place. You were at the Gambia Police Headquarters.
yéen a ngi woon ci place bi nga xam ne foofa ngeen waroon a nekk jamono jooju ndax yéen a ngi woon ci makkaan bu mag bi nga xam ne mooy makkaani police.
The police would have a station everywhere in the country.
police yi am nañ ay bunta banxaas ci bépp place boo xam ne mu ngi ci réew mi.
The NIA had representatives all over the country.
NIA tamit am nañ ñu leen teewal ci gox yi nekk ci réew mi yépp.
The army had barracks almost everywhere.
soldat tamit am nañ ay dëkkuwaay daanaka béréb yépp ci réew mi.
And these three security heads are sitting down.
te ñett ñi nga xam ne ñoo jiite béréb yi ma wax ni yépp ñu ngi toogandoor.
And they were fed a story.
ñu ñëw jox leen xibaar.
And nobody thought it fit to call any single representative to verify this information?
te yéen ñett yépp amul ku ci xalaat ne fi mu nekk xaaral ñu oote suñ nit ñi ñu teewal ci gox yooyu pour seet xibaar bii ndax dëgg la wala déet.
The first thing you would want to do is to have the NIA version of things.
li nga waroon a njëkkaa def mooy xam NIA ñoom mbir yi ni ka lañ ko gisee.
You are prepared to accept it hook, line and sinker.
yéen da ngeen pare rek pour jël ko ak nu mun a ñëwee ci yéen rek ngeen jëlee ko noonu.
Lead counsel's proposal or suggestion would have come subsequently after having seen Ichi.
Lead counsel kalatam do mënon na ñëw gannaaw boo xamee ne gis nante nañ ak Ichi.
Then you can talk, go back to your office and call and give instructions to do this follow-up as you are saying. But there where we were, there was a time factor.
Okay.
Information as per intelligence, the delay in information and in transmitting of intelligence can be termed as concealment, and you can be in trouble.
Tabel go xamne ni tabel lañ ko ci mbiri secret wali karange man nañ ko gisé rek ak nobatu la te jamono bobu mën nga am ay jafé jafé.
So as per the suggestion of the Chief of Defense Staff there, well, the three of us, it would have been more appropriate to go, and that's what we did, and I followed. We had to go. It was when I reached my office that it began occurring to me what was happening. Where's Monday?
Where's Monday what?
How did this escape me? How did it elapse? How did it occur?
You tell us.
I didn't have the answers then.
But isn't it really that this was a case wherein all three of you knew, even if you did not participate, you knew that here you were cooking up a cock and bull story to be fed to the people. None of you believed that story one bit.
ndax nekkul ne yéen ñett ñi fa toogoon yépp laat ngeen ne waaw ñu lay ñu ngi nii ñu ngi toog fii di togg xibaar boo xam ne xam nañ ne dara nekkul ci dëgg te xamoon ngeen loolu.
Man Hari Sambou gëmoon naa ko. Foofu ñu toogoon li lang tumbul Tamba wax gëmoon naa ko.
Me Hari Sambou myself I believe in it.
Ba dellu si suma office. La door a toog di xalaataat.
When we went to State House at Koba, that's that
I
start
video. What I believed them. I believed Tumbul. I had no cause not to believe him. I have said it.
After the statement was written, what did you do?
The IGP dispatched it.
So the public was informed before Yaya Jammeh.
So ningin ko ni kayegal balangin ko yegal Yaya Jammeh.
That is the unbelievable part. Yeah, you know what you said earlier, the first thing you opened your mouth on this, you said we were to write a statement in consultation with Yaya Jammeh.
They had telephone lines with him. I didn't.
Precisely the point.
I don't know.
Precisely the point. Yaya Jammeh was being consulted. This is not about Yaya Jammeh not knowing or having to go to State House to inform him. This was about Yaya Jammeh and the security chiefs sitting together, hunkering down and fabricating a statement to misinform the Gambian people in order to cover up the dirty deed of this execution. That is what happened.
That is what happened.
I agree
with you fully.
Thank you very much.
In fact, lead counsel, you are talking about execution. It did not even occur to me that there was an execution. That at that given moment, at that period of time, I did not.
You may not have known. I don't have the evidence that you were aware of the execution. But what I am putting to you is that that meeting was not a meeting in which you were doing things in isolation from Yaya Jammeh.
Of course,
this was a meeting in which everything was done lock, step and barrel with Yaya Jammeh.
I agree with you fully.
So he was at State House dictating what was happening at the police headquarters.
Rightly so.
So he was in fact the chief cook in that lie of a porridge that you fed the Gambian people.
I agree.
So it was not that you guys were doing things in isolation to go and inform Yaya Jammeh later. He knew exactly what was going on. He was dictating things.
May I please corroborate what lead counsel is saying?
Just adopt it as your own.
Thank you. Yes.
So this whole suggestion that Yaya Jammeh was at State House, he didn't know what was going on, we were to go and inform him later, was just part of the cover-up.
So masquerade. It was a masquerade.
You could have told us much earlier, Mr. Sambou,
no,
and save us all this time.
We were heading to it. We were heading to it. You needed to need the details. I will give you the details that I know. I'm telling you now.
If we did not go through the window to get that.
No. Lead counsel knows. I have assured lead counsel since yesterday that I will come here and tell you all that I know I will not waste the time of this commission.
Let council garal na la niki demba dina ñew protect ma wax deug
protected.
So when Langtombong Tamba said that State House did not know anything about it, you guys had to inform the president, was he truthful?
I don't think so, no.
Langtombong Tamba wahene, is it Tumbul Tamba?
Langtombong
Tamba bimu wahene State House yegul li xew fo ngeen dem yegal leen ko ndax loolu dëgg la woon.
Du dëgg.
It's not true.
Did you eventually go to State House?
We did.
State House.
Why did you have to go to State House?
State House.
That was as per the suggestion of Langtombong.
Was it to go and show your heroic report, the concoction that you guys made that was to be fed to the Gambian people?
Wa Gambia ndax lolu ngeen def
moy fen gogu ñu toga nar ko jox nit ñi mom ngeen demoon wañu Yaaya Jammeh woni ko seen jambar ya ne li nga bëggoon day ñu fen nañ ko mu ngi ni ci kayit.
Lead council doesn't accept I think so, but I will say I think so, yes.
Lead council do nangon lima fokk kon nak waaw.
That was the truth, that is what you did.
That was the truth and that is what we did.
Do mo don deug ci té lolu lañ def.
So it was not to go and inform Yaaya Jammeh that there was an accident and 5 detainees escaped.
Yes, it was not.
For them xamal Yaaya Jammeh accident la won bo xamne rek am nañ juroomi nit yo xamne ñu ngi leen téyon recc nañ.
So in effect, as at the time the statement was being written, you all knew that Yaaya Jammeh had more facts about this so-called escape than all of you did.
Man, how
jamono ji ngeen doon bind xibaar boobu xamoon ngeen ne Yaaya Jammeh.
I didn't know. I have told you I didn't know, and I will still maintain that. I was kept in the dark. Suñ bëggoon bu ndongo bi ndobal ma la ka ci olof suñ bëggoon buñ muusoon dinañ ma ci boole ñu bokk ay ndongo ko boy affaire bi ni la demee de léegi nañ bëgg ni lañ bëgg def wa ñu bëgg ma jaay fi bandi man ndongo la ñun ndongo baña ñu def suñ non sen dañ dañoo yégalante ku ci nekkal li sa stratégie ñu xam naka la ba pare ñu denc benn kaddu kenn ci ñun ki nga xam ne moo gën a nekk ndongo waaye ki nekk wala ki nekk mag ñu jiital ko waaye defuñ ko
waaye dañ leen benn kaddu de
waaw dëgg la
of course there was an agreement to cover up.
Wa amna nangutoo boo xam ne yéen ñëpp nangutoo woon ngeen ko pour nëbba digg bi.
And that agreement was to inform the public that the security chiefs was telling them that this is what was happened and that they would inform the president. But that speech was even partly dictated by the president. Wasn't that the case?
The element of covering up wouldn't come to me at that point because I was not aware, I didn't know. In the day we are covering up, I was informing. So affaire bi bu génné fekk affaire bi xew na ba pare te man yeguma ko man du wax ne dama cover up.
Mr. Sambou, there were 2 cover-ups.
Mr. Sambou la xal ñaar façon la.
The first cover-up was what actually happened.
La xadiga bi moy lan mo xew diga.
Whether these people escaped or whether they were executed.
Mo xam dañu rëcc wala dañ leen rey.
So that story, the story of the escape, is the first cover-up.
Li nga xamne wax ngeen ne dañu rëcc lolu moy nubba diga bi nga xamne sax mo xew jëkka ca njëlbeen.
You agree?
Nangu nga.
Please come up with the second one and let's see.
And the second cover-up
ñaarel bi nak
was your agreement to inform or to suggest that this is the story of what has happened. We are now going to the president to inform him about what has happened.
Moy li ngeen nangu tone waaw li de mom moy xibaar gi ci mbir li nga xamne mo xew legi nak dañu wara dem eggeji ko president bi xamal ko li nga xamne mo xew.
Which was a lie.
Te lolu fen la.
The statement was worked together in consultation with the president.
Li ngeen doon bind yoy yeb yeen ak doon jokko ak president bi.
First cover up bi man xawma ci dara.
First cover-up, I didn't know anything
First
about
cover-up in Gabana, no, with all due respect, how much there are Bokuma. Second cover-up in Munda, because participate now. The under Nanyom Union as a 3 blind mice.
No. 3 wide open mice. Or 3 wide open cats. 8 wide open cats.
Lead counsel, you will excuse me.
The second cover-up, you were part of it.
The second cover-up, I was part of it. I agree. But the first cover-up, no.
But you see, the second cover-up became necessary because there was a first cover-up which you had to be aware of.
I didn't know anything about it.
I will tell you, I swear to God, if I knew that this was the case and I was involved in it from the onset, I will agree and own up to my sins. I say yes.
In fact, isn't that the reason why when you went to State House, Yaya Jammeh looked at you as fools? Are you off?
Yes.
Wow. Because he already knew.
He asked us, what are you three doing here at the same time? What do you want?
And again,
the same Tumbul was there.
Then
he knew nothing and explaining to the president. He turned his eyes red, and looked at us like this. Hey, you fools, what are you doing here? I see, there where I sat, I couldn't tell you what I felt. I'm not a beer bumeti, I'm not a beer tenye. I will not tell a lie. I will never tell a lie.
So, Mr. Sambou.
Mr. Sambou.
I must do this, but there you have it. Paragraph 15 of your statement. Take a look at it. And read it out loud for the commission. Paragraph 15.
Okay. At State House, then President Jammeh received us very coldly, asking what all three of us wanted to see him for, simultaneously together with the captain. It was then that Tumbul Tamba narrated the same story he had earlier on told us at the police headquarters. Upon reading this, His Excellency went basek, rolled his eyes red, and called us a bunch of fools. After ranting at us, His Excellency gave instructions that everything should be done to find the fugitives and bring them back to book. Patrols should be reinforced and all border posts alerted. Then he sent us packing.
You wrote this yourself, didn't you?
Yes, that's my statement.
But isn't it shocking that you had to go and inform the president of which he has directed and dictated you to write? Or this first statement was written still as part of the cover-up? Until the facts came out during cross-examination.
Lead counsel, please. Lead counsel, please. Mr. Chairman, appeal to lead counsel.
So Chairman, lead counsel.
It's not funny at all.
Red-handed.
We are talking about a personal friend of mine who went through something that today.
This is it. Don't muddy the waters. You've gone past that point. when you wrote this, you still had the cover-up in mind, and you wanted to strengthen that cover-up.
And I wrote this.
And the cover-up was still to make everybody believe that Yaya Jammeh did not participate in the writing of that statement.
I disagree with lead counsel. The first time I am disagreeing openly and outwardly.
Yes, but listen to what you said. Listen to what you said. Okay? Before I ask any further questions on this particular matter, let me take a few steps backwards. We have agreed, or you have told the commission, that while you were at Usman Sonko's office, consultations were going on with Yaya Jammeh.
Hey, who had the telephone calls with him? I was sitting in my corner waiting.
Exactly. No. So Yaya Jammeh was aware of what was going on. He participated.
Apparently, yes.
Okay, let me read out your statement. Paragraph 14.
Paragraph 14.
My two colleagues, Sonko and Tamba, seemingly expressed surprise and shock.
Suma ñaari natangoy Tombong ak Tamba dañ wone bettute ak tiitange ci mbir mi.
They appeared alarmed and upset at Captain Tamba for being so careless with such a sensitive mission.
Dañ wone dal ne ñoom mere nañ Tumbul Tamba ci li nga xamne nun la sagane ci mbir mu demee nii.
Listen carefully.
Déglul bu baax de.
Was His Excellency aware?
His Excellency yëgoon na?
Question mark.
Laajte la de.
How were we going to inform him? Question mark.
Naka lañ ko ko laajee?
The atmosphere in the room was cold and empty.
Ni nga xam ne noonu la mbir mi doon doxee ci néeg bañ toogoon mu ngi seddoon.
I was dumbfounded and flabbergasted.
Man nag ba ma jaaxle woon amatuma sax lu ma wax.
I sat there thinking
how
such a thing could have happened without me as head of intelligence not having an inkling of it. Listen. Then General Tamba suggested that the three service chiefs Mr. Sambou, you write beautifully.
Mr. Sambou, binda yu rafet nga binda.
In Queen's English,
Anglo is set.
This presupposes that Jammeh did not have a clue about it. You sat there and told us that if you were in consultation with Jammeh.
The fact that we were three makes you always talk about you. And lead counsel doesn't wish to extricate me from the 2 and 2 plus 1, 3. Lead counsel is of the opinion and is deeply convinced that from the onset, I was aware, I know, and I was in complicity with these people.
I think you're missing the point, Mr. Sam. My point is, you have told us two contradictory things. In your statement, you told us Jammeh did not know. And it was proposed that you go and inform him, the three of you. That's what you have in your statement. Do you agree with that?
I agree with what I wrote.
Wow.
You told the commission 3 times a little while ago that as you were hunkered down at the IGP's office, your people there were in consultation with Yaya Jammeh as to what to put in the press statement. Didn't you tell us that?
Yes, I did.
But obviously the two can't be both correct. They are in direct conflict. They are contradictory.
My idea is, as we were talking, issues are coming up, and I'm remembering. You have asked me, don't I think that my 2 colleagues were aware and knew?
Are you buying time to think through your answer?
No.
Because you seem to be going around. You seem to be going through Fatou to come to Banjul.
One thing I know. I was made to understand that Yaya Jammeh didn't know anything about it. That's why I wrote what's there.
The thing is, you wrote this statement a few weeks ago.
Yes.
Even if at the time of the occurrence of events, you seem to have been of the initial view that Yaya Jammeh did not know anything. By the time you saw the consultations with Yaya Jammeh, you should have known that he knew. Why write that on our statement? Why write in your statement that Yaya Jammeh was not aware you plan to go and report to him? Mr. Sambou, let's cut the chase. This was written. You still had the idea to still maintain that cover-up. That Yaya Jammeh was not aware. And that you had to go and report to him. You only came out with the real truth when you were challenged about this. It's not too late to accept the truth.
No. It's not about the... I have never deflected from the truth.
I guess this one is flagrant delector.
No. It's not as we are talking. You are reminding me, you are talking, you are revealing these things and assisting me in thinking. Get to grips with issues. That's what is making me accept.
Okay, which version is the truth? Yaya Jammeh participated in consultations with you as the statement was being written, or the version that he did not know what was happening? Which one is the truth?
Now, with the statement, I was given the impression that he was not aware. That is why I asked the impression we had at the meeting there was that he was not aware. That's why I wrote it over there and asked those questions. I'm the one who asked the questions.
No, the issue is not so much about the questions. The issue is about the decision that the 3 service chiefs should go and inform the president.
Yes.
How can you go to inform him about something that he had participated in writing? He has practically dictated it to you while you are hunkered there trying to come up with a strategy of what to say to the Gambian people. There was nothing to inform him about. He actually informed you about it and made you write that statement.
I came to realize that later.
No wonder when all 3 of you walked into his office, he looked at you as fools because you just did what he wanted you to do without asking any question.
I came to realize that.
And it was, in fact, soon after that, you went back to your colleagues and informed them at the NIA. True or false?
Is that what Haidara said?
Yes.
Yeah, I told you the other day that I don't remember.
Well, Haidara said, just to recollect things off the top of my head, that you went there to the panel, they were there, and you informed them of the alleged escape of Daba Marena and co, and they asked questions. And you sarcastically told them that we'll write down these questions and put your name, and I would take it to the president.
Haidara day li mu wax ma fàttale ko rek mooy ne ba ngeen ñëwee ngeen jox leen xibaar gi dafa bëggoon a def ay laajte waaye li ngeen ko wax mooy ne lépp lu mu bëgg a laajte daal na ko bind ci kayit doo leen demee jox ko Yaya Jammeh.
ba pare bind ci turam.
ba pare def fa turam.
nga yóbbu ko jox ko Yaya Jammeh su ko defee tontoom dina ñëw.
At that point.
ci bunta boobu.
Did that happen?
At that point.
loolu moo xew.
Did it happen?
ndax moo
I
xew.
did not remember.
If you could not remember, how could you talk about that particular point?
At that point, I didn't remember. Having said it here, I will not deny it. Having said it, having raised the issue here, you know, during our polemic, things are coming up. You are reminding about a few things. And I definitely will admit that I have learned a few things. I will take them.
The jungler said that Daba Marena and co were strangled to death and dumped in a well.
Jungler si wax nañ ne Daba Marena ak ay ñoñam dañ leen xocc bañ dee ñu sànni leen ci teen.
I heard that here.
They were executed.
I heard that here.
By their fellow members in the service of the country.
During our tete-a-tete,
office.
I told you I have always refused to accept that Marena was dead.
At the
testimonies here.
I've
always refused to refer to him as the late.
Because I didn't believe in it. I didn't believe in it.
Mr. Sambou, how do you feel?
Mr. Sambou,
having been Director General of this institution that has connived with other institutions under the direct order of Yaya Jammeh to fabricate evidence against Gambians, which was used to secure the convictions of these people, serve very long sentences. How do you feel that you are an administrative supervisor of an investigative outfit that tortured Gambians into making confessions? How do you feel having been the person who put together reports that were sent which formed the basis of the prosecution and conviction of a number of Gambians? How do you feel supervising and administering an institution that ensured the illegal detention of a number of Gambians for extended periods of time? How do you feel being the Director General of the Torture Chamber of the Gambia, which was doing things at the instruction and at the behest and for the benefit of Yaya Jammeh.
Naka nga yëg nag bu fekkee ne yow yaa ki nga xam ne yaa jiite woon béréb boo xam ne dañ ko daan jël rek pour di mbugal di toroxal di mitital ay nit ci ndigal loo xam ne yéen a ngi koy jotee mu bàyyee ko ci Yaya Jammeh.
As a human being,
comme ni doomu aadama,
as a Christian, as a father,
waajur,
as a person,
ni doomu aadama nit,
you feel disappointed with your own self.
nga am mbetteel ci sa bopp.
One, you feel having been used.
ngay yëg ne dañ la jëfoo.
You feel you've let down not only yourself but those you are serving.
Nga yëg sa ne daane nga sa nekk rek sa bopp rek ak ñi nga xam ne ni ñoom nga doon defal sa service.
You have a feeling of let down.
Nga am feeling ni mbetteel.
It's deeply regrettable.
Nekk na loo xam ne lu ñuy rëccu la.
Very disappointing.
Loo xam ne ni mbetteel bu rëy la.
You would soon leave the NIA and move on to some other institution of state. But ultimately, you would suffer the fate that a lot of Gambians who did Jammeh's bidding ultimately suffered. Ko ci olof ñu dem ba ci kanam li la dal mel ni li dal ñeneen rek ñeneen ñi nga xam ne ñoo fa nekkaloon Yaya Jammeh di ko defal limbuga la leen dal moom it moo la dal. You got sacked from your job. Didn't that happen?
Yes, indeed.
Waaw am na.
At this time, prior to your sacking, tell us about your relationship with Yaya Jammeh.
Jamono jooju nag balaa nga doon baax wax ñu sa diggante ak Yaya Jammeh naka la meloon.
Uneasy, strange bedfellows.
Duutoon lu yomb.
Could you explain that?
Nag loolu mooy lan.
We had a very good working relationship, but very difficult.
Amoon nañ nag jokkoo liggéey bu yëw waaye nag jafe woon na itamit.
Strictly professional.
Tell us more about it.
I did not fancy getting near to him. You wouldn't know what he meant by from what he's saying.
So
it behoved on me to keep away from him.
You have had several brushes with him. Several uncomfortable moments with him.
Yes.
Wow.
Want to tell?
No, the most difficult one was when he locked up my elder brother.
But that such was his modus operandi. He will pit brother against brother. Brother against sister. Husband against wife.
He would sack my brother this year for 6 months, reinstate him and sack me.
He could in fact,
sow seeds of discord.
One of the more frequent headlines was, Willie has bounced back.
Yeah, that's true. No, his intention was to sow seeds of discord between us. He made a mistake. He couldn't.
But not only against you and your brother, there were even some tribal issues in how he would deal with things.
No, you
know, when you talk about Jola, everybody thinks Jolas are one.
So they may be what if you join, and I Japanese Jola, you bend like.
But they are different.
I am not putting in
Jolas.
am nañ ute ci ay Jola.
Gambian Jola is the funny one.
Gambian Jola mooy yu Fonyi.
We originate from Casamas.
ñun ñu ngi jóge ko Fonyi Casamas.
The majority of us are Christians.
te ñu bari si ñun nag ay Christian lañ.
That's the difference.
loolu mooy uteele bi.
He had his own people.
moom am na ay nitam.
He really promoted.
ñoo xam ne dana yokk seen maxaama.
At the end of the day, he would pitch them against us.
ñoo xam ne dana mujjee di leen jëfoo suñ kaw.
But invariably,
are you suggesting that some Jolas were believed as more royalty than others?
Some
Are we talking about Jami?
Some thought so. He thought so, yeah. He thought sometimes they behave like that.
Are you suggesting that he discriminated amongst the Jolas? Some Jolas were given higher priority, more premium than others? Is that what you're saying?
I wouldn't know because I'm not funny. I don't know the difference among them and their clans. But I know that he favored his people very much.
Well, you said he favored his people. You mean to say he favored the Jolas. But even at that, Yaya Jammeh still went against the Jolas with a very heavy hand.
I know that. I had it.
In fact, I have here Exhibit 9, Mr. Chair. Exhibit 9. And we have received evidence that he killed Mamadou Lamine Nyasi, Buba Sanyang, Ndongo Mbub, Modou Lamine Kujabi, Dauda Nyasi, Haruna Jammeh, Masi Jammeh, Sise Jata, Tumbul Tamba, Musa Jammeh, Samba Kujabi, Lamin Baji, all of whom are from Fonyi. And the Jolas he jailed, Langtombong Tamba, Landing Sane, Ibrahim Bun Sane, Abdullah Kujabi, Modu Baji, Ensa Baji, Bintanding Jaju, Modu Manga, Usman Jammeh, Pahari Jammeh, Alfuseni Jammeh, Ibrahim Amare, Kausu Jiba, Muye Sane, Suleiman Bojang, Idrissa Koli, Solo Bojang, Jibril Bojang, Asis Tamba, Kausu Kamara, and the list goes on and on and on. In as much as you said he favored his people, quote unquote, he also went against them. Yaya Jammeh was only interested in protecting his own seat as president.
Do
you agree with that?
I said it yesterday.
And he used the NIA to instill fear on the Gambian people in order to entrench himself and self-perpetuate in power. In fact, Mr. Chair, the irony is the opening words of the preamble of the 1997 Constitution was to talk against the self-perpetuation in power of the recent past. That was the alleged self-perpetuation in power of the Jawara administration. But everything that Yaya Jammeh did was, in fact, to do exactly the same thing using illegal means. Using the NIA to instill fear on the Gambian people. You agree with that?
I do.
You would be given an opportunity to address the commission. I won't ask you any further questions about what happened after you were sacked. You can address it in your closing remarks by talking about the impact that all this had on you. But before I close, I ask you one last question. When you were sacked from government, what did you do?
I told you yesterday, that being on contract, I was dismissed. And I know that somebody on contract cannot be dismissed. The contract is terminated either by the employer or the employee. Notice. When I was in my bed, I got the SG himself called me to say that His Excellency has requested that I be removed from my post.
His Excellency
So I went and collected my letter. You are dismissed from the service. And having been dismissed, it means I will lose my benefit. This is to, January 28, 2013. This is to inform you that the Public Service Commission has concurred with the decision to dismiss you from the service of the Gambia government with effect from January 28. In line with the administrative procedures, you are duly advised to hand over to the incoming permanent secretary, Mr. Yusuf Adiba, with immediate effect, full stop. So
at least you're lucky, it's a whole paragraph.
Yes.
Could have been a sentence.
I left. The date of my son's third birthday. So it was like a funeral in the house that day, but I said no. We had planned to celebrate the birthday, we will continue. I bought the drinks and the cakes, and I told the madam to call the children and let them celebrate.
Did that euphoria last long?
I had to leave the country. A week later.
Why?
He had, for a whole year, from January 2012 to January 2013, he had been threatening me. I have been warning you, I will deal with you, 2013 will be your year. Wow. So I had to leave. I had applied for a passport, but they refused to issue me with the passport. Because I had already left. They said I should come back and collect the passport. You all know what that means.
What did it mean?
If I come back, I would be finished. So I continued like that. Luckily, I had a valid diplomatic passport, which I used until I came back home. I didn't travel with it, I just kept it as ID. Whenever I went, if I showed it, and I would be given the due respect. I have a few documents to tender, if you don't know. Mr. Chairman, you asked me for something yesterday. I traced one. But what I want to say...
Some of the minutes, yes.
Yes. What I want to say is, you are asking about my relationship with Yaya Jammeh. He did not fancy my mustache. So he said, somebody in cabinet, they are all sitting, somebody has a Adolf Hitler mustache. So, don't you see him? Nobody saw, I just did like that. And he said, defense, that's your mustache, remove it. I'll pay for every single whisker. I laughed. From January 2012, November 2012, any travel, that opportunity that I had, conferences, seminars, workshops, he would say no, the PS will not travel. Let a senior military officer travel.
Yes, we do Tuki.
These are travels for policymakers. If you send a captain or a lieutenant colonel who knows nothing about what we are going to do, it's a loss. Yaya Jammeh has made us lose something I will never forget in my life. As chairman, National Authority of the OPCW committee here, the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons, I was supposed to go to Addis Ababa. I had been to The Hague the year before and arranged with them to organize a West Africa, a sub-regional workshop here, and we did in 2011. The following year, I went to The Hague, and we arranged to come and build and establish the regional center here, training center, for West Africa in Gambia. He agreed. It was time for me to go. The meeting was to be in Addis Ababa in May. He said I shouldn't go. It was going to, they were going to approve it and we come and establish it here. Senegal and Nigeria were fighting for it. But because I could not go, we lost the opportunity. Why? His birthday was coming in May. At the during that same weekend, and he didn't want me to go. I had to go and attend it in Canada. He kept pushing and pulling, sending the file up and down. What is the OPCW? Who are members of the OPCW? Why are you going?
But of course, it was his birthday. You had to attend.
So we lost. These are things that he played around with. And in 2011, we were traveling on his yacht, going to Farafenni to celebrate his...
Oh, he had one?
He has a wooden yacht at Saro, by some Indians. So we were crossing to go to Bara, and he called me and the former Minister of Local Government, Pierre Tamba. He said, in front of everybody, people are following your priests and nuns. Don't you know that they are pedophiles and homosexuals, and they are having affairs among themselves? Why don't you come and follow us? And leave those ones. So I told him, I said, sir, this is not the forum, sorry. Let's talk about this thing somewhere else later. By the way, we cannot all be in one boat, it will sink. Allow others to ride in other boats. You can go and sit down. He didn't like that. He went to Dasilame, saw my garden, and took it. But when I came back in 2017, I went to the Alcalo. He said, you can go and take it back. In 2012, we had already graded the whole place, level, everything. Everything. I lost my contract. When I came back, I applied to government to rescind the decision to dismiss me. They have requested, they have rescinded it, but they have refused to pay me. The balance of my contract. These are the consequences of my exile.
If you play with the snake, don't be surprised when it bites you.
So I have some lands I'm still struggling to collect. There's one in Salaji. Somebody is trying to build something on it. I will send you copies of the papers. Maybe the commission can help me get them back. But the rest will live in the hands of God. We have suffered from the exile I cannot talk about in Dakar. It's crazy.
It's your victimization, just like that was Lantombox.
Yes.
So, kuchine kasa leket la.
Wow. Borom lal Muhammad lalam. He says he wants to come over. Let him come. We will welcome him. Let him just come. We will help those who wish to bring him back. Just let him come. He will find us by the grace of God. But it's because of him that we are in this jazz. I call it jazz. He put all of us in this jazz. And he's a big blasphemer. I would call him an egocentric, myopic, gluttonous, schizophrenic, sadist. That's how I'll describe him.
I wouldn't say very appropriate.
That's how I'll describe him.
Date damane. Waxumane non la mel de. Ya ko wax.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, over to you.
Thank you very much, Council, and thank you very much, Mr. Sambou, for your testimony.
Council, Mr. Sambou, ci sédé yi nga joxe.
3 quick points. First, the memorandum that you said you brought, and a notation perhaps on it from Jamie. Can you just go through that quickly?
Yes, here's a minute. I sent to His Excellency, I said, HE, the Commander-in-Chief and Minister of Defense, that's how you address it. VIA via the Secretary General. Your Excellency's kind attention is respectfully referred to minute 23 at center of file. The package, sir, was transmitted through the Office of the Chief of Defense Staff whilst I was away on official mission with the then Chief of Defense Staff. It was a package brought in mails. I was also inopportune to meet His Excellency the Russian ambassador during that visit to Banjul and the subsequent one by the defense attaché to discuss the issue. Sir, the attack issue did not materialize prior to forwarding them to Your Excellency. In my bid to seek for the opportune moment, sir, note, sir, this much time elapsed, resulting in the inadvertent oversight. Your Excellency, sir, no man is perfect, and I am indeed one of them. It is for this reason, sir, that I once again crave Your Excellency's passionate indulgence to temper mercy in this very holy season of Tabaski. Please accept, sir, my very deepest apologies for any inconveniences I may have caused in the process. Most respectfully submitted, sir. Your Excellency. Sir. Signed, Harry P.F. Sambou, PSPMO, October 2012. Now his reply. PS/SG. Next time there is an oversight, you will pay a high price. Do not think that I have lost track of the numerous last warnings issued to you. I never received any warning. You do not seem to have any concern, common sense of responsibility. And this is how he writes them.
Thank you very much. If you can just
there are many, I could not trace them.
And it would be entered. Credible to have such an exchange between a head of state and a subordinate. Point 2, you raised the 3 blind mice nursery rhyme. Yami probably was the farmer's wife who had a carving knife. And the 3 blind mice were running after her. She cut off your tails with that carving knife and you said, sent you packing. You guys went ahead and sent that kind of note to him. Who was the main drafter of that statement?
I think it was the IGP. I think. I cannot remember fully, really.
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
I think it was the IGP, because we were in his office. I think. I can't really fully remember, no.
And was the statement finally issued?
Oh yes, it was announced over the radio.
We have it on record, Council?
What we have is a very illegible version of some of the contents. It was a newspaper, published in the newspaper. We have it, but it's illegible. That's why I did not tender it.
And the 3 service chiefs drafted that memorandum, that statement.
Yes, but it was issued in the name of the IGP.
Well, the Gambian people will certainly reply, have you ever seen such a thing in your life as 3 blind mice all running up and down and you cannot come up? They would say no. The Gambian people would say no. We have never seen 3 blind mice like that going around. It's incredible. Third point. Today is probably the 2 years, 19 days since we started these summer public hearings. But for me, well, again, you are I think the 324th witness to come here. But what I witnessed this afternoon is just incredible that the chain of your testimony, there's a link there that I don't get it. And I'm sorry, I'm going to have to establish a bracketed parenthesis and ask you, if you can tell, without any interruption, and maybe the interpreters can come in and tell us exactly what happened from A to Z when Daba Marina and the co were being taken to Janjambure and the press statement was issued. Just go on, perhaps for 5 minutes, no more than that. Just tell us the story, because the thing was a bit convoluted for me. Council tried to bring in some order there. Somehow I didn't get it. Can you please go ahead, tell us that story of when Daba and co were being taken to Janjambure, and the entire story. Just go ahead with the entire story and tell us what exactly happened. Oh, sorry, interpreter.
Daba Mare ak ay ñoñam li nga xamne yépp mo xew ci seeni mbir ci tënk rek nga waxal ñu ko ñu xam ca ndorte ga bopam em.
Is Chairman asking me about the contents of the statement?
No, not at all. I'm asking you to tell me the story in your own words, what exactly happened.
Mune ndax chairman dafa bëgg mu wax ko li nga xamne mom lañ binda waaye chairman ne ko déedéet yow ci sa kàddu bopp laa bëgg xam.
That's it's your involvement, you and the 3 service chiefs, the contacts you had with the president. Just the story.
Would you believe that I don't know anything about how they were supposedly transported or whatever?
Fine. When did you hear it?
That day.
So go on, tell the story. I won't interrupt you. I just want to hear the thing consistently.
Tumbul said that 5 prisoners were being transported to Janjambure. And on the way, they had an accident. The vehicle somersaulted. It was in the night. And they escaped.
Go on.
That's it.
No, it didn't stop there. The service chiefs fled. So go on, continue the story until the press statement was issued.
In the morning, as I said, the chief of defense staff called me on the telephone that we were supposed to have a meeting at the police headquarters. And the 3 of us went to meet. At the meeting was also the late Captain Tumbul Tamba. And there he blurted out the story that he gave about the escape. That was when Chief of Defense Staff suggested we should inform Echi But before that, we should issue the press statement. We sat down, knocked heads together, and drafted something and gave it, and then the IGP drafted it and he released it. From then, we went to State House in a convoy. We went to HE. That's when he treated us like the 3 blind mice. And sent us packing.
And during the drafting session in the IGP's office, contacts were being made with the State House.
They were talking to him.
So I wasn't going to interrupt you, but go on. You left it out.
I could see the IGP walking from his desk to his chair, to the telephone and back to the telephone. And we were there trying to draft the. It was afterwards that I found out that they were talking to His Excellency.
Thank you very much. Commissioners, if you have any questions, please indicate. Commissioner Kerr, followed by Commissioner Kinte. Those on my right first. Commissioner Kerr, you have the floor, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Chairman.
Mr. Sambou, thank you for coming to share your story.
And
for helping the commission. I want to ask you 3 questions. The first is, how do you think the NIA became a central tool to perpetuate Jammeh in office?
Can you please repeat?
The first is, how do you think the NIA became a central tool to perpetuate Jammeh in office?
I said it here. The NIA was his baby. The NSS time was disbanded after the coup. So Jammeh decided to create the NIA. He chose his own DG. He chose his own men. After a few months, 6 months, maybe I But then he gave the Armed Forces Provisional Ruling Council, AFPRC, drafted a decree 45. Which was all encompassing. And that's the Bible of the NIA. And he used the NIA for everything.
Thank you. How did torture become institutionalized in the NIA?
I also said it here, that Jammeh did not believe in any normal procedures of obtaining information from detainees or arrested people.
To
him, everybody was a threat. And he has to teach you a lesson so that you know that he is the boss. So he will give instructions for you to be beaten. And he will send his soldiers. In fact, for not the NIA, the first one soldiers in the Falco Linkosol. I also said that he did not believe in this maslahating, diplomacy, and
he always used force.
So for
him, he must show that he is the boss.
Thank you. The final question is looking back at your service. at various institutions in the country, from the NIA to central government, and the other institutions that you have worked for. Don't you think you could have done more to prevent the torture and other inhuman treatment that Gambians were subjected to?
The more you are talking about would have spelled danger. It would have meant I was going beyond my limits. I have told you about Jammeh and power. Even if somebody had a problem with him and you go and beg, like he wants to dismiss a minister, he wants to detain somebody, you go and say, sir, please, he's a family man, you know, hey, you have come here, I look at you. That's weakness. You're a weakling. So, with me taking my file, going to him, discussing with him, telling him, sir, like the ladies, let them go home. You want to replace them? Go. That's what society is all about. And wanting to do more, you land yourself in trouble. The testimonies here have told you. And me alone, I would stand out alone like a majority or minority in the whole sea of seals or whales. Nañ brand ne ma ngay jaay gourmet ya wala ngay jaay intellectual ya because I was one of the few guys over there.
I may be seen as somebody who was showing my Christianity and being intellectual.
So it was only when I started bringing in this training program, sending these boys to university, we started having. But I said it here that subsequent directors would bring in their guys in batches. That spiraled down.
Just a follow-up question to that. I find it interesting because there were situations where you spoke to him about cases you've mentioned even just now, including anti-Ramsia. But would you not say that that would be a failure on your part? Because if I got you right, you mentioned that one of the reasons you took the job was to impact change. And if you took the job and we are not able to impact change, would that not be failure on your part?
In fact, I was sacked before I finished. Obviously, it's a failure.
Thank you, Commissioner Kinte. Good afternoon, yes, Mr. Sambou.
Mr. Sambou.
You told us that you were invited as service chiefs to the Office of the Inspector General of Police.
Office Inspector General of Police.
And your mission was to discuss and strategize among yourselves how you will put up a press release.
And
to subsequently meet the president. You mentioned here that you never knew the communication that was happening within your corps was with the president. Is that what you still maintain?
Commissioner.
That the telephone calls that we are going in between, you never knew where they were going or coming from until afterwards. Is that what you still maintain?
xamuloo woon diggante kan ak kan la woon ba gannaaw gi ci nga ko door a xam loolu nga bëgg a jàpp ba léegi.
Commissioner.
Yep.
Commissioner.
Yeah.
President Jammeh is Jola.
President Jammeh Jola la.
Okay.
Tombong is Jola.
Tombong Jola la.
Usman Sonko is Jola.
Usman Sonko Jola la.
All Fonyis.
ñoom ñëpp waa Fonyi.
Tumbul Tamba is Jola.
Tumbul Tamba Jola la.
Tumbul is a half brother or first cousin to Lang Tombo.
Tumbul.
When they are even sitting down and talking, I wouldn't hear what they are saying, and they are speaking Jola.
buñ toogee di wax
dégguma Fonyi.
di wax Jola du ma dégg li ñoo wax man Jola Kasa laa dégg.
One. Two.
benn.
Lang Tombong and Usman Sonko were in this, as it has always been Usman Sonko's senior.
Lang Tombong saa bu nekk rek kilifa la ci Usman Sonko.
Usman Sonko has served under him for a number of years.
Usman Sonko nekk na ci ronam di liggéey ci ay at yu bari.
In the security service, if you are senior to somebody,
ci buntu service bi bu fekkee yaay kilifa ci kenn.
senior.
saa bu nekk rek yaa koy senior. yaay
Moreover,
kilifa.
if he is your kith and kin.
waxuma laa nag jamono boo xam ne nii sa xale la.
When they are talking to H, I wouldn't even know.
bu ñuy wax ak ci duma ko yëg.
You've not answered my question. Are you still maintaining that you did not know until everything expired?
tontuloo suma laajte bi de li ma la laaj mooy ne xamuloo woon mbir mi ba gannaaw bi yëpp tasaaroo ci nga ko door a yëg.
No, biño draft, nakate, biño di draft.
We are trying to draft the paper.
Legi Usman jog dem ci telephone bi.
Sometimes Usman will get up and go to the telephone.
Ideas come up and we write.
Ideas
coming from where?
Usman or Lang.
Okay.
Just like lead counsel said, that it was coming from...
Make it shorter. You still did not know that Yaya was participating.
Afterwards, I found out, of course.
But you said at the end, I just want to know whether that's what you maintain.
At the end?
Yes. It was only at the end that you knew they were communicating with Yaya.
Yes.
I want to refute that.
You want to refute it?
Yep. In your letter, a short letter you presented to the council.
Okay.
I remember you used many excellencies and many SARs. Yeah.
The minute.
Go ahead.
Yes, the minute. I remember some other witnesses also said that you must repeatedly reaffirm your subordination to Yaya and his majesty over you in order to be in his good books. And that's why every statement or every other statement will be policed with sa. Am I right? So I think while they were communicating, you must have known earlier that they were talking to Yaya, because the excellency and the sa must be very frequent. Même if they are speaking in Jola or in whatever language, this tradition must be maintained. No.
I know.
Yes. So you should have known quite earlier. So I want you to review that. That you knew they were communicating with Yaya, but you could have explained other things. I was dumbfounded. I was so amazed. I could not even I was in myself. But I knew they were talking with Yaya, and I did not participate in their talking. That one I could take.
If you know the topography of the office of the IGP, there's a long tier on one side.
So how many classes
somewhere around Commissioner C? There's a distance. And when you are talking to HE, you do that. You don't want the next person to know that what you're talking about, or you're talking to him. So by the time you talk and finish, the person might be an expert spy or busybody to try to find out what you're talking about. And obviously, I don't think somebody would be unwise enough to talk loud for the next person to hear that he's talking to His Excellency.
It cannot be audible to the extent that the person within the same office cannot hear the communication, anything from the one side, from your side. That's unbelievable.
My apologies, Commissioner.
Commissioner.
Okay. My second point.
My apologies.
Instead of going to Yaya to confirm that you have already accomplished the assignment, I think you are giving us a wrong impression that you went to tell him you have already made a press release, you are now, coming to inform him of your actions and so on. Do you want to review that one also?
Dem rek pour xamal ko ne waaw bind nañ xibaar go xamne dañ ko wara tassare ak yu mel ni ñu mëna leralal fofu naka la.
The suggestion from CDS was that
xalaat bi nga xamne mu ngi tukki won ci CDS moy nekkon ne
after the press statement
gannaaw bataaxel bi wara jëm ci buntu tassekaay xibaar yi
we go to HE and inform him.
ñu dem ci HE ñu yëgal ko
and not to confirm your obedience to the orders.
No. To inform him that this is what happened.
My third point is when you did that, according to your story, your narration, he asked you to go out and make sure these people are captured and brought to book. Was that not his instruction?
Yes. Indeed.
How much has your office, NIA, done? In fact, you are the expert intelligence custodian. How much has your office done to determine, the truth from the falsehood as the situation is? How far have you gone? Who did you assign? What did they achieve? And so on.
Office mom lan lañ def kan ngeen sante pour mu def gestu gi ak bu dé amna sax lan ngeen ci jëlé.
Yaya Jammeh loves saying what goes around comes around.
Yaya Jammeh nak dafa nekkon ku soppa di wax baat bo lu jëm lu wër bu ñëkuwaat.
In a very short time,
ci waxtu wu gatt
the rumors started coming out like mushrooms.
Jamono bobu nak ci la déyante bi commencé di génn comme ay jaator.
And obviously I spoke to my senior officers.
Gannaaw loolu nag ci la wax ak kilifa yi nga xam ne nii ñoo nekk buntu liggéey suma buntu liggéeykaay.
They went down the ground.
ci lañ dem nag saaro.
No, down the ground. Dañ teg seen noppay ci suuf.
dañ teg noppay ci suuf.
Seen noppay ci suuf pour find out.
ci lañ nekk nag di jéem a seet.
And don't forget they were also mingling with the junglers.
buñ fàttee tamit ne jamono ñu ngi jokkoo ak jongulas yi.
In a very short time it filtered out.
ci diir bu gàtt rek mu commencé feeñ.
Who among your subordinates did you assign to go out for the intelligence?
You have liaison offices like lead counsel said.
daan am ñoo xam ne ñooy toogal ci koñ yi comme ni ko waxee.
Every region has a liaison office.
bu nekk am na kenn am nañ ku ñu fa toogal.
We inform them and tell them this is what happened.
ci leen yëgal nag ne lii moo xew.
Keep your eyes on the borders.
ko defee ñuy bàyyi seen xel ci border bi.
But remember, I already know that you have a whole unit on operation.
Yes.
It is the responsibility of that operation to have gone out, and they will be complemented by your various regional outfits.
That's why I said I spoke to my senior managers. That includes the operations manager.
Can you give one or two names? When you say managers with S, it means you can give me 2 or 3 names.
I wouldn't remember. It's a long time.
2006.
2006. When I left, they were moved around. And when I took over, I met some there. So you wouldn't be able to know.
Your memory has been so good in all your coming and going and changes and so on.
True, Mr.
You know, it is only this one that you cannot even vividly remember anything.
Well, I spoke to my deputy DG.
Who was the deputy DG?
Mr.
Haidara.
And you asked him, you assigned Haidara to all hands on deck for the mission?
Not particularly assigned. There is a setup, there's an organogram, there's the Director of External, Director of Internal,
I know.
Director of Operations. Now, I wouldn't remember who was where at that time, but obviously, definitely, we sat down at a meeting and we tabled this issue.
In which Marina was present?
No, Marina.
Yes, that's what you said. That's what you just said.
Excuse me?
No.
You said Marina. Marina is the one who's been disappeared.
Hydra. Sorry. Hydra.
At the meeting, all senior officers were there.
Yeah, but particularly you named Hydra as your
Yes,
deputy.
I named Hydra. He was my deputy. He was my deputy.
And that means they went out.
No, Hydra wouldn't go out. He at the
No, I know. What I mean, they went out through the ladder. They assigned some.
Yes.
Field hands and so on. And
you have operatives on the ground.
I know.
Yes.
And then in that case, have they brought you any feedback? And I believe some of these things should be in writing, you know, and so on, like minutes of that meeting, and when they came out, the report they submitted, and so on. Can you give us some evidence of any effort you have made to make some intelligence search?
They must be there in the archives. I cannot do anything about it. I left a few months after. And you know you cannot keep NIA documents outside.
Perhaps maybe I can help here.
The council and team, you know, will.
Let me help Mr. Kinte.
Yes, please.
Remember, I have raised this issue twice. First with General Tamba, and secondly with Mr. Sambou. Mr. Haidara said Mr. Sambou came and reported to them that the three service chiefs have just issued a press release indicating that these people have escaped custody. So Haidara said that he asked questions because none of them believed the story that the government came up with. And the reason why they did not believe was because they were familiar with how detainees were normally transported, especially high-profile detainees. So then he asked questions. And then Mr. Sambou told him that, well, write down those questions and write your name on it, and I would pass it on to the president. Remember, I just raised that. And he said he could not remember that. But this is Haidara's description of the matter. It looks quite clearly that the thing died down.
Natural death.
A natural death.
Yeah, because the challenge given to Haidara, he would not venture that. It seems something, Mr. Sambou had something under the sleeves. Because why ask him to, you know, ask individual questions, and instead of following your mission, those are threats to Haidara. Those will be taken to the president. So it's Haidara's heads that will roll. He would not venture that. So that's how he died. So you participated in the cover-up, as council had always said. In the entire cover-up, you were a participating agent, a significant participating agent. Would you admit that?
I agreed to one cover-up.
This one also? It's a cover-up. Write down the questions and I'll take it to the president. You are the director. It should be from the director. You have already got your assignment from the president. Director down and then something until you get the feedback. So if you ask your immediate subordinate to write down the questions and you will take it and sign it, confirming his implication, and you will take it to the president. That's saying no, let no one do anything about this. Okay. I'm saying, are you admitting that you are a key conspirator in the whole issue?
No, I wouldn't.
The witness has been put the proposition that there are two cover-ups. The first is to cover up what actually happened. That is the basis of the press release. And the second was to cover up how the cover-up was done. He has accepted participating in that second one, but not in the first one.
Okay.
So the question you are asking is similar. It's like part of the first cover-up, but you can also call it a third cover-up, which is discouraging every inquiry as to what has happened.
Exactly, Council.
So, but our position is that they all knew what had happened, and they just decided to keep quiet about it.
So they were all co-conspirators?
Well, they are conspirators in the cover-up.
Yeah.
But in the actual doing, he said he was not aware, he was not involved.
Exactly.
Lang Tombong said he was not aware, he was not involved. I would imagine Sonko would also say that he was not aware, he was not involved. Yeah. But it's for the commission to later look into these things and make up its mind as to what they believe and do not believe.
Indeed, and those officers, those 3 officers, weren't about to sign their death warrants.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Commissioner Kinte. Commissioner Sambou, you have the floor, please.
Harry P. Sambou.
Yes, madam.
Mange la wax ne ci suma xelaat da nga wara jégalu.
I'm saying this on my mind that you should apologize.
Ci ñi nga xam ne ñoo loru.
Those who were victimized.
Si sa tenu.
During your time as the director.
Because yow yaa dee joxe report.
Because you were the one who was sending reports.
Am na ñu bari ñu si dee.
And there are many people who died.
Am na ñu bari ñu tëj.
There were many people who were jailed.
Suma coobari foog naa ne war ngaa jégalu ci ñooñu.
In my mind, I think you should apologize to those.
Suma second correction bi mooy.
My second correction is.
Nga ne Daba Marina sa tight friend la.
You said Daba Marina was your tight friend.
Te bañ ko arrêté isi ko pour hand over si sa office.
When he was arrested and brought him to office to hand over.
Bem waxee ne kontaan na ne yow yaa jël place am.
When he said that he was relieved that you were the one who took over.
Last kàddoom bi mooy.
His last statement with you was.
Harry dénk naa la suma njaboot gi ak Mariama.
Harry, take good care of my family and Mariama.
Da loolu yaa ngi ko sàmmal ci gannaawam parce que kaddu dee dafa diis.
Were you with that thing because it's somebody who died?
Waaw affaire yi jégalu bi loolu moo tax ñu ñëw fi.
For the aspect of the apology, that's why we were here.
Te dinaa ko def.
And I will do it.
Nit la.
I'm a human being.
Doomi Adama la. Dinaa ko def.
I will do it. Mariama.
Ca jamono.
At that time.
Def naa lu tuuti li ma mun.
I did the little thing that I could do.
Waaye mënuma ca woon a sori.
Why not? I couldn't go further than that. They were watching me.
Why afterwards?
But after that,
Mutuki.
She traveled.
Thank you very much.
You are welcome.
Thank you. Commissioner Kerr, let me come back to you. You have a supplementary question. As the commissioners on my left-hand side, if they have any questions. Yes, Imam Diallo, you have the floor, please.
Witness.
Imam Diallo,
the various experiences you have had in the services. In view of the fact that you have been at the center of everything that happened in the NIA. Know the temperament of a bad leader. What would you advise your present service chiefs to ensure that they function as is expected?
Thank
you.
First of all, they should subjugate themselves to the democratically elected government, civilian democratically elected government.
ci njëlbeen dañu war a moomale seen bopp ci nguuru démocratie gi nga xam ne ni mu ngay dox.
That the armed and security services are always
ni buntu yi nga xam ne ñoo saytu wàlli kaaraange waxtu wu nekk dañ war a
under the authority
ci ndigalu
of the civilian democratically elected government.
ci nguuri civilian goo xam ne ni nguur gu jaar ci démocratie la.
That the culture of impunity
te tamit nga xam ne nii lii nga xam ne mooy aada def dara rëcc ci.
and the abuse of their uniforms.
ak tamit di jaay doole surtout nag li nga xam ne ni mu ngi jëm ci seen maqaama uniforme bi ñuy sol.
And the lack of discipline
ak ñàkk yar
within the ranks.
ci maqaama yi liñ toflante.
And the military civilian relationship.
ak tamit nag jokkoo bi nga xam ne nekk na si diggante militaire bi ak civilian yi.
These things should be maintained and
lii nag nekk na loo xam ne nii war nañ koy saxal dundal ko.
And the service chief should see to that.
te ci njiiti service yi bunti service yi war nañoo gis ne.
Not only that.
nekkul loolu rek sax de.
The welfare of the services, the men and women serving in these services.
nekki ni ñi nga xam ne nii ñooy liggéey si buntu service di góor ak jigéen.
should be very well taken care of.
war nañ koo ciral bu baax a baax toppatoo ko.
That's their housing.
moo jëm nag si seen dëkkin.
Their feeding.
seen lekk.
Their logistics.
seen jumtuwaay.
And their salaries.
ak seen payweer.
Allowances.
ak seen ndàmpaay ñu ciy teg.
So that they will have they wouldn't have the mind to think of any other thing
bu ko defee nag booba dootuñ amati leneen lu ñuy xalaat lu mooy def liggéey.
And be obedient.
bu ko defee tamit ñu nekk ñoo xam ne ñu topp ndigal lañ.
To authority.
ci wàlli ndigal yi nga xam ne moo jóge koo ci kaw.
Thank you. Yes, Imam C, you have the floor, please.
Mr. Sambou,
Mr. Sambou, I'm thanking you for what you have just make it clear here. My only doubt here is the time you were entering into that job, didn't you know Yaya Jammeh before that much? God has saved you already that you were occupying another good place. You were far away from him. Your mind was steady. And later you took up another job where you know that. Every day you are preventing yourself from him and trying to distance yourself. Every day you have a lot of challenges. And the daba you just mentioned, what you first did, you cried here. How you passed through what you did with him. Maybe lead council has told you about him. How you took over his place. And how you praise him here. Less than 2 weeks, you heard about his problems. That was the time you should think about yourself. When you are well educated, that's the time you should have gone when you are with your papers. This is what worries me, how you were maintaining this. Imam, thank you.
Yaya
Jammeh was a human being. Human being is bound to change. Nobody is completed. Myself. What you thought of. And what will happen. Will not be the same. NIA.
My own NSS.
You know, I was with the NSS.
NSS, them NIA.
I left the NSS, then I went to the NIA. And later I came back.
I thought
that I could have made some changes which could be very significant.
Domi Gambia la.
I'm a Gambian citizen.
Security la janga.
And I am educated in security.
Mom la ham.
That's what I know.
Normal government la.
If at all it was a normal government,
Senegal, PPP.
like Senegal here,
you not hear their voices. When you are sailing a boat, as I was telling you, I was alone. I thought that I was doing all I could have done. I thought that I could do it. My suggestion just failed me. I'm not closing remarks. I have my closing remark and I will tell about it to make it more clear. Dabanat, I never thought that you would go to that level. Honestly, it was something very sad. I was very much disappointed in that. That's what I can say for now.
Thank you, Mr. Sambou. We'll make you, or allow you to make your concluding remarks after Commissioner Kerr has got a supplementary question, he says. Commissioner Kerr, you have the floor, please.
Thank you, Chairman. Mr. Sambou, there is something you mentioned here that you've told the Commission, which is that you are a passive participant in the investigations of the 2006 coup. What I don't understand is when it suddenly became necessary for you to go and inform the President with the other two service chiefs, you were willing to go. So I don't seem to be able to balance the two.
Mr. Kerr, I already said here, we were three. It would have been very difficult for me to withdraw from that three something and do otherwise. The situation was not tenable. I was working on very serious ground. Slippery ground. And I have to be very careful. So you sing along the tune. If not, there will be danger.
Thank you very much. You may now proceed, Mr. Sambou, to make your concluding remarks on your own behalf, not on behalf of the other two blind mice. Please go ahead and make your remarks.
I don't know what I have my reply here. I must seem to have misplaced it. My statement. Mr. Chairman, members of this August Commission, Mr. Lead Counsel, Lead Counsel, please permit me first of all to offer a moment of silence for the repose of all those who fell during Yaya Jammeh's harsh regime, including the late Solo Sandeng. And of recent, I heard Lead Counsel lost some parents, relatives, parents. My sincere condolence. May their souls rest in perfect peace. Today's day is one day I have long yearned for.
Tey ne bési tey bi nag nekk na bés boo xam ne nii yàggoon naa di ko mébét di ko gént.
And I'm not only very glad,
nekkul rek ne dama kontaan,
but privileged
waaye nag am cër
to have been accorded
ne jox nañ ma jotaay
the opportunity
ab bunte boo xam ne nii
to sit in front of you
te pour toog nag jàkkaarloog yéen
to tell my own story.
pour wax nag li nga xam ne nii mooy sumay jaar-jaar.
In accepting to work at the National Intelligence Agency,
pour nangu nag pour jël liggéey ci buntu liggéeykaay NIA,
little did I know
gannaaw lu ndaw loo xam ne nii yëg naa ne
how challenging and demanding it would be.
ay sas yu métti ak ñi nga xamee daal noonu la aajo ay service yoo xam ne lu ñuy daw la.
Contrary to what prevailed at the former National Security Service,
di loo xam ne nii uute na ak bunte bi ñu xam ne National Security Service
under the First Republic of Sir Dawda Kairaba
ci
Jawara,
nguur gu njëkk gi nga xam ne nii mu nekkoon ci ron Sir Dawda Jawara,
things turned out to be completely different.
mbir mi nag dal di woon indi am wecceeku.
As the old English adage says,
ci léebu boo xam ne léebu la kàllaama angale la,
power corrupts absolute, power corrupts absolutely.
doole dana dee indi ay ger te itamit bu gën a yokk sax gën a yaatal gerit.
I, along with some of my colleagues,
man ak ñeneen ñi nga xam ne sumay nawle lañ woon,
was carried away by the wind of power drunkenness
ñu na dañ ñu yóbbaale woon rek ngir doole ji nga xam ne nii ñu ngi ci woon
under the whims and caprices of a dictator.
ci li nga xam ne nii moo nekk xalaat ak neexaay koo xam ne nii nguur ak jaay doole rek la fi daan doxe.
The events that took place at the NIA,
xew-xew yi nga xam ne nii moo xewoon ci NIA bi,
as recounted by various witnesses,
yoo xam ne ni na nettali na ko fi lu bari di ay seede yu fi teew,
confirmed that it was transformed
dal di woon na dëggal nag ne dañ ko wëlbati yoon
from an intelligence gathering institution
di bërëb boo xam ne nii dañ fay dajale ay mbóot ay luñ xerewlu
to a torture chamber
def ko na bërëb boo xam ne bërëbu mbugaleekaay la
at the behest of the former president and commander-in-chief of the Gambian Armed Forces.
ci li nga xam ne nii neex nag ak itamit ndigal loo xam ne nii kenn la woon di njiiti réew His Excellency Yaya Jammeh.
The amount of suffering and pain
di métti yi nga xam ne nii nekk am na fa
meted out on victims and their families
yoo xam ne nii teg nañ ko ci ñi nga xam ne nii ñoom lañ fa toroxal ak seeni njaboot
was great and immeasurable.
nekk na loo xam ne nii daal xamuñ dayo bi nu mu toll.
Over the years, on the orders of one man,
yépp ci benn at bi ci ndigal loo xam ne muy tukkee ci benn nit
Yaya Jammeh,
di Yaya Jammeh,
this situation can only be described
lii nag jamono la boo xam ne niñ ko mën a leer niñ ko mën a tuddee mooy
as regrettable.
loo xam ne nii ak rëcc rek lañ ciy mën a amee.
And for this,
ci kaw loolu
I wish to express my wholehearted and sincere apologies
maa ngi àggale suma jéggalu ci
to the Gambian populace,
ci nit ñi dëkkee ci réewi Gambia,
and in particular
ak rax sa dolli
all those affected victims
ñi nga xam ne nii ñoom ñoo ci loru woon
and their families.
ak seen ak njaboot.
It is easier to forgive
yomb na nag pour jéggalu
than forget.
ni fàtte.
But the old English adage again says,
waaye ba tey rek ci léebug angale
to err is human,
ci tooñ nag mu ngi aju ci doomu aadama,
but to forgive is divine.
waaye njëgal nag mu nga des sa borom ba.
As a senior civil servant,
li kenn nag ci kilifa goo xam ne liggéey na ci nguur,
I thought and believed that
yaakaaroon naa itamit ne
I was working for the president and commander-in-chief of the day,
maa ngi doon liggéeyal président ak commander of chief bu bés bi.
the government of the day.
government di nguur gi nga xam ne mooy dox ci jamono ji.
My duty was to be committed
suma liggéey moo nekkoon ma am xertu si
and loyal.
dal di am kóllëre.
Little did I know
lu ndewul li nga xam ne ni mujjee naa ci xam ne
that everything would be so personalized
mujjee gi ndeke yëpp dañ koy mujjee moomale kenn
and centralized
ak itamit sisale ko ci benn
with orders
ak ay ndigal
coming direct from the State House.
joo xam ne ni ñu ngi jóge ko ca State House.
The department was not independent enough
bunta bi nag nekkutoon loo xam ne nii dafa taxawaloon boppam rek
to perform its rightful duties
pour def nag liggéey bi li nga xam ne moom lañ séntu ci moom,
and became derailed.
te itamit mu nekk
Added to that,
yokk ca itamit ne
the frequent changing of director generals
wécceeku yi nga xam ne ñu ngi ko doon am ci bopp ñi nga xam ne ñoo ko jiite woon toujours ñu génne kii indi keneen
rendered the institution weak and inconsistent in leadership.
na sax lool na lool buntu liggéeykaay boobu noonu ak ci li nga xam ne mu ngi aju seen wàlli njiit yaa.
The right criteria
li nga xam ne nii mooy doxalin bi wéroon
and qualifications
ak màcc ak liggéey ba
were overlooked
dañ li woon nañ ko weesal
in their appointments.
ci li nga xam ne mooy seen tànneef
Kinship and loyalty
ak li nga xam ne ni mooy njiit ak kóllëre gi nga xam ne moom lañ ca fas
mbokaya
ak mbokk ya
were the order of the day.
moo nekkoon li nga xam ne daal loolu lañ daan doxalee.
The end results we all know.
ci mujjantal gi ñun ñëpp xam nañ ne.
The end results we all know.
ci ni mujjee nga xam nañ ne.
I am inclined to admit that.
nangu naa pour maa ngi am pas-pas pour nangu ne.
Following my directorship.
toftal nag suma directorship njiit yaa.
That of the late Mamadou Keba Diallo Pa.
di ki nga xam ne mooy ndem si yàlla Mamadou Keba Diallo Pa.
And the late Ben Jammeh.
ak ki nga xam ne nii moo ndem si yàlla Ben Jammeh.
All hell broke loose at the NIA.
ñoom ñëpp daal nekk nañ ñoo xam ne nii amoon nañ ay xew foofu si NIA.
déedéet affaire yi biir NIA mel ni daal lu takkarnaase.
affaire yi NIA mel ni loo xam ne dafa takkarnaase ñu ngi jégalu.
Needless to say.
jarul sax wax ne.
all three of us.
ñoom ñetti ñi ñëpp.
were university graduates.
ñëpp ay waa university graduate lañ.
and tended to professionalize things.
te itamit pare woon na liggéey boo xam ne ni dañ ko jaarale ci yoon ni ñu ko séentoo.
without success.
waaye nag mu jëwutoon sotti.
thanks to the interference of President Jammeh.
sant yàlla nag ci ndimbali président.
there was a time.
amoon na yenn jamono.
when the Swiss.
ci jamono bi nga xam ne Suisse yi.
and the Senegalese.
ak Senegalese yi.
took the NIA as reference.
jël nañ NIA gi def ko muy royukaay.
in the West Africa sub-region.
mu nekk ci diwaani Afrique sowu jant.
in just 4 years of existence.
ci ñeenti at yoo xam ne nii rek mu ngi doon dox.
but alas.
waaye nag mu jigi. ndeysaan.
in a personal meeting with Barack Obama's former Undersecretary for Africa.
gannaaw boo xam ne def nañ meeting ak ki nga xam ne nii moo nekkoon Barack Obama.
Secretary for Africa.
Secretary ci diwaani Africa.
Johnny Carson.
during
a 10-day Defense Department sponsored seminar in Portugal, Lisbon.
ci fukki fan yoo xam ne ni nag jotaay la boo xam ne lañ ca doon waxtaan mu aju ci wàlli kaaraange.
back in 2010.
ci 2010 ca Lisbon, Portugal.
I raised US-Gambian relations.
ma wax fa nag lu aju ci wàlli diggante jokkoo diggante Gambia ak United States.
what he told me was.
li ma wax mooy.
President Obama wanted strong institutions in Africa.
President Obama bugg na buntu liggéeykaay dëgër ci diwaani Africa.
and not strong men.
waaye nag duut ay góor yu dëgër.
a direct reference to President Jammeh.
loolu nag nekk na loo xam ne nii mu ngi ko jëmale ci président Jammeh.
the advent of the new Barrow dispensation in 2016.
li nga xam ne nii mooy nguur ak Barrow ci commencement am ci atum 2016.
awakened all of us, including my good self.
na ñu ñëpp ñu bari bokk na ci daal ci man ci suma bopp.
the yearning of a new dawn in the Gambia.
li nga xam ne nii moom lañ doon séntu fii ci réewi Gambia.
hovered over people like me out in exile in Senegal and abroad.
lu jëm ci nit ñu mel ni man ñi nga xam ne nii ñu ngi làqoon Sénégal ak ci yeneen réew.
I spent 4 wasteful and useless years in Dakar, Senegal.
am naa ñeenti at yoo xam ne nii maa ngi ko def ca Dakar Sénégal yoo xam ne nii jëriñu ma dara.
as an asylum seeker.
di nekk koo xam ne nii maa ngi ut kayiti làqu.
having to run for my life.
jamono boo xam ne maa ngi dawal suma bakkan.
like hundreds of others, poor and helpless Gambians.
mel ni ñeneen ñi nga xam ne ay téeméeri doomi Gambien yoo xam ne nii nag ñoom itamit amuñ ku leen dimbale.
from Yaya Jammeh's brutal and tyrannic regime.
ci nguur ak Yaya Jammeh gu métti gii.
united in fear and yet divided by distrust.
benn booloo nag ndek ragal ak itamit nag tasaaroo ak itamit ci loo xam ne nii daal tas na suñu xel.
Gambian refugees in Senegal.
réfugiés daw làqu yi nga xam ne ñoo nekk ca Sénégal.
struggle daily for survival, not knowing what lay in store for them the next day.
nga xam ne nii saa bu nekk rek ñu ngi jéem a seet ni nga xam ne noonu la ñuy dundee te itamit xamuñ nag lan mooy ñëw gannaaw loolu.
the UNHCR.
buntu liggéeykaay mbootaay United Nations bi nga xam ne ñoo dox lu jëm ci mbiri daw làqu UNHCR. red tape
mooy seen jaxasoo yi ni ñoo liggéey.
seen jaxasoo yi liggéey yi.
with all due respect to them.
ak seen liggéey yépp.
was incapable of coming to our daily needs.
mënoon nañoo ñëw ak si suñ li nga xam ne moo nekk suñ aajo.
especially for the homeless.
rawatina ñi nga xam ne ni amuñ dëkkuwaay.
the unskilled.
ñi nga xam ne ni amuñ métier.
and uneducated.
ñi nga xam ne ni amuñ njàng mu doy.
in a hostile Dakar environment.
ci Dakar ci nekkin boo xam ne bu métti la.
Yet Yaya Jammeh's elite killer commandos.
Yet ba léegi tamit Yaya Jammeh ñi nga xam ne nii ñoom la daan ebal ndawam yi nga ko daan reyal.
permanently roam the streets of Dakar.
saay bu nekk rek ñu ngay dox ci mbeddi Dakar yi.
and other Senegalese localities.
te yeneen béréb yi nga xam ñoo nekk ci Sénégal.
to kidnap or eliminate prospective enemies.
ngir rey wala jàpp ñi nga xam ne nii ñooy daw ñi dawoon noonu.
on Senegalese soil.
ci suufi Sénégal.
My sincere and deepest gratitude
suma ngir maate nag
to the very politically mature government of Macky Sall, President Macky Sall,
nguuris Macky Sall goo xam ne nii gu màcc la ci politique.
for their eagle's eye watch and protection
ci ni nga xam ne daal noonu lañ daan gën a bàyyee xel.
of all of us Gambian refugees in Senegal.
lu jëm ci suñ kaaraange ñun ñi nga xam ne ay daw làquy Gambien lañ nekk ca réewi Sénégal.
I for one
man ci suma bopp.
am very grateful
man nag sant naa
for the particular VIP cover
ci teraanga gi nga xam ne nii defal nañ ma ko ci ak càngaay
and protection
ak kaaraange
offered me
yuñ ma joxoon
during my stay in Senegal.
si suma jamonoy jotaay ca réewi Sénégal.
On the home front,
ci biir kër gi ci biir fii.
I wholeheartedly welcome
daal maa ngi rafetlu tamit bu baax.
the advent of the Barrow coalition-led government.
di nguuri président Barrow gi nga xam ne nii nguuram Manko gi nga xam ne moo ko jiite woon.
in 2016.
ci atum 2016.
This is the best relief.
li nag mooy li nga xam ne moo gën a seddal bopp.
any progressive Gambian.
képp Gambien boo xam ne nii mu ngi xeeñtu lu jëm ci yokkute.
could have dreamt of.
moo xam ne nii mu nga koo gént.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
I pray that Allah the Almighty
maa ngi ñaan ci borom bi subhanahu wa taala
grants President Barrow
mu may président Barrow
the fortitude
xoli muñ kaaraange
and will
ak ina
to succeed with all his programs within the framework of his NDP.
mu sottal nag ak lépp li nga xam ne nii mu ngi aju ci mébét ci yokkute yi nga xam ne ni def na ko am na ko.
We all remember how the Christian community, Gambian Christian community,
ñun ñëpp xam nañ Gambian Christian community bi.
in its modest way,
ci seen anam ngi tàlli gi
contributed immensely
niñ yaatale seen ndollal ñoom itamit
towards the success of the removal of dictator Yaya Jammeh in December 2016.
ci niñ sottalee génne fii Yaya Jammeh ci atum 2016.
who was brought up by a Christian foster family.
nga xam ne moom ñu ngi ko yar nag ci njaboot ak Christian.
We have had national days of prayer.
dañ daan am ay fan yoo xam ne ni ñu ngi doon ñaan ci réew mi.
for the removal of Jammeh.
pour nag ñu génne fi Yaya Jammeh.
and the peaceful transition of the new dispensation respectively.
ak tamit jébbalam nguur goo xam ne ni dañ ko jaarale ci jàmm.
and we will continue to pray for our beloved country, the Gambia.
te dinañu continuer di ñaanal nag suñ gàmm gi Gambia gi nga xam ne ñu ngi ko amal cofal suñ bopp.
The word secular
baat bi ñu waxee secular
eluded us despite our expressed concern
yaxal nañu nag ak li nga xam ne tamit soxal nañu
to the Constitutional Review Commission
ci xew wecceeku yi nga xam ne ni am na ci wàlli commission boobu.
owing to a misrepresentation and misinterpretation of the word by some local socio-religious organizations.
Mr. Sambou, I think we are going beyond the purpose of this closing remark.
Mr. Chairman, I apologize. Mr. Chairman, please allow me to express my deepest concern for the youth of this country.
Mr. Chairman, ma agalis li nga xam ne mooy suma xol ci li nga xam ne soxal na ma ci réew mi.
I would appeal to government
dana d'appel nag ci nguur gi sàkku ci nguur gi.
seriously look into youth education and employment.
ñu bàyyi xel nag ci li nga xam ne mu ngi aju nag ci wàlli njàng ndaw yi ak seen buntu liggéeyukaay.
May I also kindly appeal to our local political leaders
na jéggul sàkku yi tamit ci ñi nga xam ne suñ kilifa lañ ci wàlli politique bi.
to exercise tolerance and political maturity in their quest for the highest office in this land.
ñu dugal masla ak muñalante ci si xeñtu bi nga xam ne ñu ko xeñtu lu jëm ci seen bunti politique.
The Gambia is a melting pot.
Gambia nag nekk na béréb boo xam ne nii.
And we are all related.
ñun ñëpp dañ bokk.
And the country belongs to all of us.
te réew mi ci ñun ñëpp la ñun ñëpp a ko bokk.
Unity is strength.
bennoo nag mooy doole.
I wish to finally thank all friends and relatives.
fi may mujjee nag mooy damay gërëm nag xarit ak mbokk yi yëpp.
home and abroad.
ñu nekk fii ci réew mi ak ci bitim réew.
particularly my wife and immediate family.
rawatina suma jabar ak suma njaboot gi.
My mother, Teacher Sambou.
suma yaay Sambou.
And for all the support during my trying times.
ak ci mboolem dimbal boo xam ne def nañ ko ci jamono suma tolof tolof.
And to apologize once again.
di jéggalu tamit beneen yoon.
To all Gambians.
ci Gambien ci yëpp.
For any wrongdoing.
ci lépp ñaawteef boo xam ne ni def nañ ko.
Ever.
ci fii.
Through this August Commission.
jaaree ko nag fii ci commission bi.
I am sincerely sorry.
maa ngi jéggalu bu baax.
I would like to make some recommendations.
danaa am ràññeef yoo xam ne ni bugg naa koo def.
One, that measures are included.
yoo xam ne ni sàtta yi bokk na ci.
The new draft constitution.
di loi bu es bi nga xam ne ni moom la ñu bind.
For the protection of public servants.
ci kaaraange ñi nga xam ne ni ñooy liggéey ci nguur gi.
Who refuse to carry out illegal orders.
ñi nga xam ne ni dañoo bañ a topp ndigal loo xam ne ni dëppoowut ak yoon.
Just like in the recently passed.
comme niñ ko daan defee rek ci nguur gi nga xam ne moom la ñu jox gannaaw.
To also.
te tamit.
That proper and adequate measures.
ci yeneen anam yoo xam ne ni ay sàtta yu wér la.
Are also included in the draft constitution.
yoo xam ne boole nañ ko ci loi boobu ñuy bind.
For the subjugation of the armed and security forces.
ci li nga xam ne mu ngi jëm ci wàllu benn buntu liggéeykaay service bi.
The democratically elected civilian government of the day.
nguur gi nga xam ne ni nguuri civilian gi nga xam ne dañ ko tànn jaarale ko ci démocratie.
So as to discourage.
pour nag ñu tayaloo.
The culture of impunity.
ñu tayaloo nag li nga xam ne ni mooy aada def dara te kenn dootu la ci topp dara rek mu jeex noona.
Long live the Gambia.
ñu ngi ñaanal li Gambia.
I thank you for your kind attention.
Dem naa leen lool ci seen teewaay bu rafet.
Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Sambou, for your very lucid and concluding remarks.
jërëjëf Mr. Sambou ci sa kàddu yu nga gaaral.
Thank you again for coming to testify before the Commission. Council, I believe we have some exhibits submitted.
Yes, three exhibits. The Amnesty International report of 2nd December 1997 should be Exhibit 191, and the minute sheet, minute 24, of letter emanating from Harry P.F. Sambou of 24th October 2012, and subsequently minuted to by His Excellency the President, Alhaji A.J.J. Jammeh, should be Exhibit 191A.
A as in apple?
Yes. And Exhibit 191B is also another minute from His Excellency the President responding to a minute of a Principal Assistant Secretary from Ministry of Defense. Should be Exhibit 191B.
Thank you very much, Council. Again, Mr. Sambou, thank you again for coming to testify before the Commission.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Sambou has provided his dismissal, the letters terminating his appointment, and that of 2006, and that of 2013, and that of 2018. That is the commutation of his dismissal to termination. The only issue is that we are not dealing with terminations. So the Commission can receive it or can give them back to Mr. Sambou, because we are not dealing with this particular issue. Yeah. But I leave that to you.
The only reason why we need to look at it is if he's referenced those terminations or those notes in his statement. If they are referenced in his statement, we can give them exhibit numbers.
They are referenced in his testimony.
Splendid. Let's go ahead and then give
that
them numbers.
Should be the 2006 letter, 10th November 2006, should be Exhibit 191C, and the letter of 28 January 2013 informing him of a dismissal would be Exhibit 191D, And the commutation of the dismissal to termination should be Exhibit 191E.
That completes that?
Yes.
Thank you so much, Counsel. This brings us to the end of our proceedings for this evening. We will resume tomorrow morning, sharp 10 o'clock. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you all very much.
Weddings and all related services. We have all kinds of local foods, American, European, and even beyond. Come and have a taste of our local juice, ebe, and other services. At CK Restaurant, customer satisfaction